Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 23rd episode of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
McClain here.
You're very enthused.
I am. No, I am. I just hit the mic, and trying to make sure I'm all settled so I don't make noises.
Yeah, it's hard to do that sometimes. You know, it's a difficult thing. So, McClain.
Yeah. Yep.
We need to talk about Ezra.
Oh God.
Because
did he do it again?
He's become like a menace to society.
Dude,
this guy.
No way. He did it again?
Well, there's like always a bunch of stuff. So like I just looked up Ezra Miller, like just the name Ezra Miller.
Right.
And on the Google News tab, the latest thing that popped up was an hour ago that says Ezra Miller bizarrely offers to knock out retail worker in resurfaced TikTok video. And I saw that.
Well, resurface.
Yeah, it's like an older video, but like obviously people are paying more attention to it because of all the wacky shit he's doing. But I guess, and I like kind of watched the video. I didn't watch it with sound on it; had captions, but it's basically like this person who's a fan, and they're like taking a selfie video, and Ezra is just like right there over their shoulder, and the person's like, "Hey, it's so cool that you're right here, Ezra Miller. I'm a huge fan." And then Ezra Miller just basically says, like, "How about I knock you out?"
Wow.
And it's really weird. It's so bizarre. Like, this guy clearly has some issues because he's like reportedly, like, I guess, holding this family in a house with like guns, and like there's like a photo of like a baby with a bullet in their mouth. Yeah, it's some wacky shit.
Really?
Like he's causing havoc over in Hawaii. Havoc.
That's a gently way of describing that.
It's
this is all in Hawaii. When did that? I heard about the two bar fights he got into. He had the one.
So yeah, that was like one of the first things, I think.
And then he had another one that happened probably about 4 months ago.
Yeah, something. There was something that happened a long time ago. It was like a couple years ago where like he's interacting with like a fan in I think like Sweden or Switzerland or something. And there's like a video of him like they're both like I think clearly drunk. And then he like pushes them down or something or like hits them and they like get knocked down on their ass or whatever. And then the video just cuts and people were like, oh, were they just playing or was he like actually being a violent asshole? And apparently he's just...
Oh, yeah, no.
He's just a violent asshole.
The one I read about was him in Hawaii at a bar that he got into a bar fight at like 2 a.m. or whatever. Because I wrote off The Flash as soon as I heard that.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering, too. Is like, I guess DC, they already made the movie, and they've already sunk this much money into it. They're just going to have to...
anything like Cat in the Hat, they'll go through with it.
Yeah, they'll just release it and then hope that people... just aren't on the internet as much as they are,
yes.
You know, because it's like hard to ignore how much of a douchebag this guy's being.
100%. I can't believe this. This is, well, I mean, it's Hollywood, so.
Like every single story that I'm scrolling through about Ezra Miller is just problematic. Like Warner Brothers calls it quits with Ezra Miller's The Flash. Flash star Ezra Miller hit with temporary protection order by family of 12-year-old. Ezra Miller housing 3 children and their mother in unsafe conditions in Vermont. Like it's
what?
Yeah,
housing.
Yeah, that was like one of the things that I read online was that he's like housing people in like these like basically in squalor. That's like the same instance where like a photo of like a baby with a bullet in their mouth surfaced. I guess like I haven't seen the picture, so I can't verify, but. Like it was like news all over Reddit and all over the internet.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going away.
He's not gonna be. He's not gonna be in any movies.
Yeah. Or the
maybe ever.
We need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah. That'll be a behind the scenes documentary about like, oh, we should have seen it coming. You know?
Well, I was gonna say maybe all the stuff happened after that movie.
Yeah, maybe he's just too deep into character. He's like Jared Leto. He's
lost himself.
Yeah,
he's not like
he's a method actor. He's just been method acting Kevin this whole time, except he doesn't realize that the movie's been out since 2007.
He really is. He's Inception, and he's like Maud in Inception. Remember when she goes in and they come out, and maybe I shouldn't. For anyone that hasn't, we're not going to do it.
No spoilers for Inception.
Yeah,
but I kind of know what you're talking about.
Thanks.
I got you. I need to rewatch that movie. I've only seen it once. Yeah. So that's the Ezra Miller news lately. I feel like we had to touch on it a little bit.
That's insane. I didn't know about. Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't.
Well, it's definitely noteworthy too because of the fact that Warner Brothers dropped Johnny Depp because of the allegations that Amber Heard made, which of course we know is like kind of the reverse. You know, she was way more violent to him than he was towards her. Right. And obviously they're both not perfect. You know, they're both celebrity assholes.
They're both humans.
I'm only human. But it is a juxtaposition that needs to be pointed out because they dropped Johnny Depp basically at the drop of a hat, and it took them a long time to admit that they weren't going to work with Ezra Miller anymore.
Well, I mean, you're also looking at they're looking at the fruit that is the Flash. Mm-hmm. You know, like we've only got a little taste of it, and they're seeing, you know, what's going on with Disney over there. Like I bet you that dude, they probably had 2 more movies lined up, a series with them in it, you know, merchandising, and then you're talking about all the knockoff stuff with the cartoons. And now all of a sudden, I mean, they're gonna have to rebrand the Flash.
Well, they were banking on the fact that this Flash movie was gonna like fix the DCEU, and now
they think that movie was gonna do it.
Yeah, because I think what they were going to do was they're gonna do like a reverse Flash storyline or something, where he like goes back in time and changes a bunch of shit that happened in the previous movies. So then like everything's basically retconned. So then they could just start over. But now the character that they're using to do that is
weren't we just talking
super
about idiot fucking like producers doing idiot producing things not too long ago?
I mean, I feel like that's almost every episode, but yes. Yes, we were.
So many wrong decisions that just get made.
Yeah, Sony, Warner Brothers, you name them.
They get paid a lot of money to sit in a room and make a decision. That sounds like someone got baked off an edible and like literally just walked in the next room and was like, hey, don't you think the Flash could just spin the world backwards like Superman did in Superman 3 and we'll fix all of our problems with the DC universe so far? It's like, you know what, Larry? That's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad at all.
Hey, let's call up Ezra, see what he's up to. Yeah. It says he's in Hawaii. I'll get in touch with him later.
You remember? Have you seen Anchorman?
A long time ago. I barely remember.
There is a scene where the guy gets off the phone and Veronica Corningstone walks in and he goes, no, I got it. Thank you very much. And she's like, is this a good time to talk? He goes, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Our youngest apparently took this new drug called acid and was shooting burning arrows into a crowd. I feel like that's like a producer talking about Ezra.
Yeah. God, I wouldn't put it past him at this point to do something like that.
Well, hey, in all seriousness too, like if you're, Ezra, if you're listening and you're going through some mental stuff, maybe take a break, seek some help. Mental disorders are kind of like a serious thing, and this sounds like maybe something that a bit above our heads. So
yeah, he needs to get some help. That's for sure.
Yeah,
like,
that's.
I like trying to make it clear that like obviously I don't want him like assaulted or dead or anything.
No, it's great. Like the way you're reading it sounds like he's purchasing really like shitty homes and housing people in them for his enjoyment.
Yeah, like it's
like rats. Like he's like taking people and he's like, oh hey, like I'm gonna put you in this den.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of context that needs to be pieced together, but obviously with like the trend of what's going on with him, it's clear that he has some issues.
What if DCU? What if this is them like doing something? Like, what if they take
all publicity stunt?
Oh my god! Like they just and all of a sudden this comes out and this is like huge news, and then like he turns into the next Messiah, and that's how. I gotta see the Flash now.
Yeah.
God damn it! They did it to me.
I gotta see it just for the controversy. Yeah. We can be done talking about that. Speaking of crazy people, Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, we
both watched that.
We did. How exciting!
Yes. So I saw this pretty recently yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. Can you believe that?
How did you see it twice?
One time and
then the other.
Wow, I saw it at the Sam, fellow host of the pod. Guest host.
Guest host.
Recommended that I go to the Phoenix Theater to watch it. And Yeah, first time that I went there, off his recommendation. He said it was delightful, and it was. And I got done with that film after watching it at the Phoenix. I was like, I'm not sure where I stand with that. I was like, the writing, my experience was really cool, and I was sitting there teetering, like, all right, like I don't know if I'm falling like really shitty or really fun and adventurous, right? Mm-hmm. And then I saw it at the drive-in, and boy, did that sway me.
Yeah, when you take away all the like nice luxury and comforts of a nice movie theater, then you really get to see a movie for what it is.
Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I can summarize this.
Yeah, you do this one, because I'll do my fucking.
You'll do your boy. So this is the third installment of the Jurassic World series, the sixth installment of the Jurassic Park series, and is directed by Colin Trevorrow, stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard. I almost said Dallas Buyers Club, unironically. It brings back Sam Neill, Laura Dern,
Jeff Goldblum.
Yep. And the Asian guy.
Him, and I didn't know this, and this will be a drop, I guess, but Campbell. So
Bruce Campbell?
No, do you remember in the first one?
I don't really.
Have you seen Jurassic Park, right?
I've seen all the movies. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one, so I don't remember too much.
Campbell Scott plays Lewis Dodgson in this one.
Okay.
Lewis Dodgson was in the first one. He's the one that Nedry met up with to give him the Barbasol can with all the enzymes in it.
Oh, okay.
That's how unrecognizable he was. I did the same thing looking at trivia
So was
today.
he the main villain?
Yeah, he's the guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I thought it was very funny because in the first one he plays like this, a friend calls him a jobber. And then all of a sudden in this one he's like, I'm reinventing medicine.
Yeah, he's basically Tim Cook from Apple.
Yeah, exactly. I thought after I heard that I was like, wow, like I can't believe I didn't come up with that. And then I really thought about it. I was like, no, I guess I did. He must have put in 25 years with whatever fucking company he was with, Biogenesis or whatever.
Biosin.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even know if that was it. I'm guessing they probably tied it back into the first one that it was called Biosin.
I don't know. I didn't recognize the name at all. I thought it was just like a made up company for this specific film.
I did too. So
I'm wrong.
They tried to tie a lot back in. Well, the Dodgson guys, Lewis Dodgson's he was in the first one.
Okay.
So Nedry goes, Dodgson, we got Dodgson. And so that's the guy.
Yeah.
And they anyways.
So this takes place after the second one, of course.
Cool.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And it sees Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard being like pseudo parents to this clone girl that they rescued from the second movie, and of course like the world is trying to live with the fact that dinosaurs are in the wild now. They're like part of the earth, and they're like roaming.
Really cool
the
concept
globe
to
again.
expand on, right?
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. Yeah, I almost feel like you're being facetious. Jesus.
No.
And so, yeah, something happens to where the daughter basically gets kidnapped, and also Blue from the previous two films. Her daughter gets kidnapped, Blue the dinosaur.
Well, I don't need to know what you do in your personal time.
So Chris Pratt has to go in rescue mode, and Bryce Dallas Howard goes with him, and then from there they like converge with Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, in their mission to figure out what kind of sedacious acts Biosin is up to, where they are headed by like this seedy CEO that I guess is in the first movie with Wayne Knight, with Newman from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
He's like the guy in the pink shirt. So this film was basically like, is super predictable, right? Like I feel like I could predict like almost everything that was going to happen in this movie. Like it felt really cookie cutter, and
you don't say.
I don't know if I was expecting anything different, but man, they really did not try to branch out of the typical formula for this film.
This has a feel from Fallen Kingdom. I mean, they've gone downhill. I mean, really, you know what happened? And I was complaining about this after I saw it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The first two movies are based on the book by Michael Crichton. He wrote Jurassic Park and he wrote The Lost World of Jurassic Park. The Lost World of Jurassic Park actually encompasses, in the movie format, the second and third film. They just broke up that book and gave the kid his own storyline to make the third film. All right, so you had content and a lot of kind of higher concepts going on between, cloning, where do we stand with commercialism, what's right and what's wrong, playing God, all the big things that Crichton usually talks about in his stuff.
Yep.
When it comes to evolution, and where we stand at. The third one just took that kid's storyline and just made the third film out of it, right? Mm-hmm. That's when it went to shit. That's when it all fucking went to shit. That's when they started sucking. Just awful.
Well, yeah, because, after a certain point, how much do you have to offer in terms of, new ideas with this type of storyline?
The first two, so rich. The first one was, cloning and commercialism and where do you stand at, where does it end? Mm-hmm. You're taking two very heavy things. Well, I should say one with the cloning but dinosaurs coming back, and hey, we're gonna sell it. We're gonna wrap it up like Goldblum says. And we're gonna ship it out. And we're gonna get it to your eyes. And we're gonna get it content. And it's just money. But you never stop to think if what you're doing was right or wrong. Right? That's huge. Mm-hmm. The second one is animal rights. It's their property. Are they animals or are they property? We cloned them. We came up with the technology to create them. Is it a creature or is that, a piece of intellectual property or an asset, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of like a zoo. Like if a tiger got loose from a zoo, is it an animal or, hey, that we bought that tiger, we own that tiger, So you're looking at property rights.
Kind of like Blade Runner, but with dinos a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. They're kind of, they didn't obey the laws of robotics, though. So
no.
But the third one you get into, there's nothing there. It's a pretty point A to point B. We got to rescue a kid. And that's where it goes to shit. So you didn't come up with any unique ideas, and now I think what they understood was, we're gonna tailor this to our target audience is gonna be the kids that grasped onto this, and their kids, and it's gone from soft to softer to softest.
Well, yeah, like you said, it feels like there's a regression of the ideas that they're presenting. So, like you said, the first two films at least offer those sort of concepts in a unique and interesting way.
Yeah.
You get to the third one, like you said, point A to point B, and then the first Jurassic World comes out, and it feels like it's just a movie that's made for people who want to see CGI dinosaurs fight each other.
That's why I went to it.
Yeah, people getting eaten. So, it's... From the get-go, these Jurassic World films are just kind of built off of a sense of nostalgia and cash grab, pretty much.
Dude, 100%. I mean,
the heart behind it is not really there to begin with, so it shouldn't be too surprising when the third film out of this franchise is so formulaic and cookie cutter and predictable and
trash.
Yeah, it felt like nothing mattered. It felt like there weren't any stakes. Mostly because of how predictable it was and how corny the dialogue is, and just it didn't feel like anything had weight. It wasn't shot in an interesting way.
Nothing. There's a couple cool scenes. I mean, it's not, but not with the budget they had.
This movie to me is on the same caliber as the Transformers films.
100%. This was trash. The writing was trash. None of the characters were very good. The villain sucked. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is just some really nerdy guy, and he doesn't even come off as domineering.
Right. The whole time I was thinking they just really got Tim Cook to be the villain in this movie.
Yeah.
CEO of Apple.
I was thinking Steve Jobs. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
It's the same. I'm a little too smart for everyone's good. I know I see things into the future. I'm able to, and they just suck the personality out of those guys, and everyone thinks that this gray blank face is a new villain, and it's not. It's just someone that not very personable. Give me Fassbender. Put Fassbender into that role.
Yeah. I mean, who knows if he would have agreed to that though? But Maybe. I don't know.
No, he wouldn't have. I mean, this is all trash. This is your Pratt thing when you just go. He's like just another like 40-year-old white guy. I was like, I watched this again at the drive-in because we had talked about it, and I was like watching him. I was like, my God, he's right.
I know, because he just plays it so safe, and it really, like you said, like before we started recording this, I think it was like last time we recorded, was he just doesn't look like he cares in this film.
None
like
of them.
It doesn't feel like he's putting forth any effort to like bring passion to his character or like put forth effort to like bring a performance to it. Like it just feels like he's getting another paycheck.
I literally watched this, and then they steal the girl, and he comes running back, and he runs into the house, and Bryce Dallas Howard doesn't know what's going on. And he's like, Mallory, and she's like, what? He goes, they got her.
Oh,
like, and
Maisie.
Yeah, Maisie. And I was like, that's it. That's the. And I was trying to like in my head, like, all right, someone stole Preston. Like, how would I be? Like, I'd be.
They
in that
got
house.
Maisie.
I would be like, grab your fuck. Like, let's. You know.
Yeah, you'd be a little more passionate than.
They got her.
They got Maisie.
Like he's like tiptoeing around, like, hey, they found us. And I was like, I don't even know what that is that he just did. Like you got your hand caught in the cookie jar, like, you know. Oh my God, just all of them sucked.
So
not all of them. I will say that, not all of them.
It felt like this film didn't like it wanted to be all the different settings of the previous Jurassic Park films. Mm-hmm. So you've got like the science lab that they're in. Yep. You've got the, I guess, weird, where did they go to? Like Malta or something, like Morocco, like
some weird.
So yeah, some like hot, like desert city or something. It reminded me of Gemini Man
a little bit. Yeah, that bike scene.
Yeah,
with the raptor.
Well, that reminded me, between that and like the rooftop chase scene between Bryce Dallas Howard and the dinosaur, it reminded me a lot of like a Bourne film, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I was about to say, what was I like? I was thinking actually a little James Bond. Like I know there's a Bond one where he's
that too. It's like the beginning of, I think, Casino Royale or something.
Yeah, you know.
But it had that setting, and then it had like the forest, like jungle setting that Bryce Dallas Howard drops into, and then of course you've got like the, you know, woods, like cabin in the woods, like, oh, people are stalking Chris Pratt and they're like kidnapping them, and it's like this sort of backwoods like kidnapping story all of a sudden. Like, yeah, I feel like they tried to like introduce and like call back to like those things that the previous films used in terms of like a setting, as sort of like, hey, remember when the movies were like set in the jungle? Hey, remember when this film was like set in the lab or whatever? Like, I don't know. It felt like it was trying to call back to like the first film in a way that just felt really forced.
Some of it, I agree. Some of it was. It's very hard with this one. I don't. Mm-hmm. The Morocco one, I don't get that one at all. Like in my head, I'm literally just thinking, I was like, probably Chris Pratt is like, if I'm going to sign on to the third one, we're doing it somewhere where I want a vacation.
I think they probably wanted a scene that involved like the black market and like people doing like cockfighting, except with dinosaurs.
But that's why I don't get, like, you could do a black market anywhere. Like I don't know where black market's at, so I don't necessarily think of that area. I just think of nothing. So if you went into like, you could go into a speakeasy at a bar in New York and then just have it sweep around and open. Like I'd be like, oh, okay. Like there's no, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like they were trying to do that specific one maybe with the second Jurassic World, when they're like in the mansion and they're like doing the weird auction shit with like all the rich people.
See, like I was cool with that one. Like even though it's just a shitty, just shit, but you know, like I was still cool with that because it's like, oh, like I bet you. I don't know where those things happen at. So you could do it anywhere. So at a mansion in the basement of this billionaire, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm bored with that stuff. So I don't, that's what I'm saying. Like you didn't have to do it in that. They might have wanted to have like the raptors chasing them with the, you know, maybe where it's easier to film, like if you blocked off the streets, like motorcycles going through, or maybe they own right, like, because so many movies have been shot there, you know. Because I think Gemini Man for sure. When that thing jumped over its head, every time I thought of Gemini Man when he was on that bike running from himself.
I thought of that too.
Remember when they like the bike goes over his head and like they do the shot, you know, stupid shit. By the way, how stupid was that? Like don't talk to anyone here. It's like, oh, you're American.
Oh yeah, immediately just talks to somebody.
And doesn't even do like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just lost. My girl's lost. Like, immediately takes any sort of mystery out of the black market.
Yeah.
Like any sort of like, you shouldn't be here. This is a bad place to be, and make it like, it's okay. I got you. You can say whatever you want. Go on your way. Like,
yeah. Please help me find my daughter.
And she's like, she tells her where she can go, and it's like, why'd you help us? She's like, you know what? Like, I just saw a little bit of me and you.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I'm not going to be a bad person anymore.
Yeah.
I could have helped your daughter when I saw her go towards the limousine, but I didn't.
I made eye contact with her, and we kind of had a moment.
And now I'm guilty.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to be a supporting character in this film.
Oh, easy, right?
They just needed a character with a plane and like a badass like female like fighter pilot character.
I mean, she was kind of cool, but like there was only two people I liked in this film. Other than that, like, they were all just.
Was the other one Jeff Goldblum?
Yes. And he
I knew it.
Well, he doesn't, like, he mailed it in, but I think he did it more in like I'm gonna be like really outrageous in this because this is ludicrous. Yeah. You know? So but it makes it fun because he actually was still personable. Like, he's like kind of like doing like fuck you guys for having me in this.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know, because it made him a lot of money.
Well, he's like, I'm Jeff Goldblum and people love me.
Yeah.
So if I'm just myself in this film, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
People are going to like me anyway. And he's right.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. When he took the spear and lit it on fire, I was like, badass. Yeah. They had great one-liners. Mm-hmm. You know, like, he just pointed out. The reason why I liked him so much too is he pointed out a lot of what the writing was doing. So some of the time, you know, when you call yourself out, you know, like, you kind of have a little bit more respect. At one point, he's like, are you talking to that dinosaur? Or, like, you promised a dinosaur you were going to save their child.
Yeah.
And
you made a promise to a dinosaur?
Yeah. And Pratt's like, yeah, like, whatever. And I was like, I appreciate that for like, hey, we're kind of going to be silly and outlandish with this. But
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But I don't think I'm the target for it.
No. Well, it doesn't help too that like everybody else around him is like so serious and like just the situation's so like dire, and even though like it's so cookie cutter,
yeah. I mean, like, you say serious, but it never felt serious. Like, I don't think for once. Like, I
think they were trying to be serious, but it just didn't.
Oh God,
it didn't translate.
My bad. I'm sorry.
It felt like they were fumbling through the plot of this film. Like, almost anything that happened in this movie felt like it was just on accident or like circumstantial.
Let's think about this. We have dinosaurs in the world. We've recreated them. They've hit the black markets. They're obviously dangerous. They're running with horses. We can film anywhere we want because we've got this giant ass budget. Hey, Jim, what should we do? What do you want to make? What's the plot point? How about we make giant fucking bugs that are just going to eat the world up?
Yeah.
And we can't control them. Love it.
That's so.
Let's make this really about fighting, corporate America.
It's so cheap how they like market this movie as like, oh, we're going to explore the implications of dinosaurs in the world populated by humans, like modern society.
Yes. Like, how are we going to adapt, or how are we going to figure this out?
It's teased at the end of the second movie, and it's marketed that way for the marketing of this film, and it's like introduced as that at the beginning of this movie.
Yes.
Like, it shows newsreel footage of like dinosaur incidents
that are
happening around the world. Yeah. And then
Chris Pratt's fucking rodeoing, doing cowboy shit with them.
Yeah. And then it just like cuts to Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard in the woods with their daughter, and then basically ignores like the whole outside world, and then just carries along with that plot. And then like the last like minute of the movie, it's like, oh, it looks like we'll have to learn to get along with the dinosaurs and grow together.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't touch on this at all during the fucking runtime of the movie, other than the very beginning and the very end.
Yeah. I wanted to find out on the way back, because I was trying to do some research, because I've just had like an action-packed weekend. I was like, I want to know how many rewrites were done with this thing. Like, or did they just hand it to someone and were like, whatever you write, we'll shoot?
Didn't it wasn't Colin Trevorrow that wrote it?
I thought him and then a chick that helped him out. I think
Emily Carmichael and Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah, I think Carmichael wrote Pacific Rim. or was on it. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Pacific Rim Uprising.
Uprising. So not even the good Pacific Rim.
No.
Wow.
Not even the one people like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah, how do you blow it? Hey, let's get we're gonna get the nostalgia back. We're gonna link everyone up. We can get, we got CGI up our asses. We can get dinosaurs fighting in zoos with bears. What do you want to do? What about the plague?
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like, we're getting around, revolutionary times here.
What if we get biblical with it?
Yeah, revelation.
We have the swarm of locusts, but they're the size of a football.
And the devil controls them.
Yeah. The devil is Tim Cook from Apple.
That's another thing that really annoyed me was like, oh, so we're saying everything that he's doing is wrong and like this is evil and greedy, yet what you're fucking doing to me isn't.
Yeah. There's a quote from the movie that was kind of ironic. It was it was like systematic problems or something, like with corporations or whatever. Yeah. It was like towards the end of the movie when they're like giving the interview with the reporter.
Oh yeah. A little on the nose with like what Ramsey was saying, or
yeah. Ramsey was talking to the news person or whatever, and he's like, it's just systematic issues throughout the entire company, and I'm like, well, I could say the same thing about Warner Brothers.
Jesus Christ. I wonder if that lady was like Carmichael, like getting in like little jabs here and there. Like you get Goldblum and Ramsey; those are the two you get to write.
Paycheck. Take that, Warner Brothers.
So the second time I watched this, I was like, this will be a good barometer for like how I felt after watching it at the lovely Phoenix Theater. And
the rose-colored glasses, man, they were knocked off the second you drove up.
Well, as soon as he goes, Maisie, they got her. I was like, I'm done. I cannot. I just can't deal with Pratt right now.
He's definitely like phoning it in.
100%.
Like 100%.
Like it's not even they did.
And it's not like he can't act. He clearly has done so in Guardians and Parks and Rec. Like he has talent. He's so famous now to where like he doesn't even need to try with these like big franchise movies.
The characters they're giving him don't require depth.
No.
I mean, there's no backstory. If you think about his backstory from Fallen World, like Jurassic World, the very beginning, they don't even get into what he did. He just trains animals. Like, I don't even know why he's a badass hunter. Like, all he did was train them. Mm-hmm. It's not like he captured the velociraptor.
It's not like he wrangled him up himself with his bare hands.
Yeah, or maybe he did. They're just like, listen, we're going to have him train these things, but let's get a guy that's got a six-pack, a cut-off jacket, and have him have a gun with a scope on it, and let people assume what he can do, because they're not going to question it. And we really didn't after the first one, but then you get to this one, and I was like, the fuck is he doing? I didn't even know that they cared about this girl, and now all of a sudden, like, it's their daughter.
Yeah,
like,
I had I had a point, but I don't remember what it was.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. What did you think of the special effects in this movie?
Not bad.
Some of them were like okay. I felt like there was a couple instances where like it was pretty obvious. Like I feel like when they first kidnapped Blue's daughter Beta or whatever, and she's like trying to climb up the hill after they like knock her down, that didn't look good.
No,
like at all. And then like towards the end, when of course like they have the T-Rex fight the evil T-Rex basically, like they did in the first Jurassic World.
It's a thing.
It's that didn't look too good either, and that in itself was also making me roll my eyes because it just feels like this movie was copying the first film. Like,
dude, it copies. They're
the first Jurassic World.
I knew it was so the Jurassic World came out and it was kind of like money grab. Like they did a lot of product placement. Mm-hmm. A lot of that. And it was like, well, I'll give it a pass. Even you got a budget this high, a lot of new dinosaurs, all the there's a lot of CGI involved. You got to do what you got to do. And then after Fallen Kingdom, I was like, this is just fucking shit. just a money grab left and right. I mean, like, so the CGI, I didn't have that big of an issue with it. But yeah, no,
there were some instances where it didn't look great. But I guess like going back to like my gripes with like the plot and how it just feels like conveniences and circumstances that happen. Like the one of the instances that happened in this film were like Tim Cook. I'm just gonna call him Tim Cook. For my own
you're
sake.
good. You're good. You're good.
Tim Cook goes and he's like, all right, shut it down. And they like start burning all the locusts. And then like for some reason the thing just malfunctions and they all fly out of the ceiling.
Yep.
And now they're like all over the forest and the forest is burning down. Like that is the reason that happens, that the forest burns down. Like it feels just so inconsequential and uninteresting. Like I feel like if it was like something like one of the main characters being careless with like a flamethrower or something and they like burn the forest down, like that would be more believable.
What chaos theory is. I mean, that's it. That's you can't control all the uncontrollables. And that would be a great one instead of locusts that no one even gives a shit about anyways, that you have no idea is going to be this giant. Honestly, when the locust first came on, were you like, oh, this is going to be like, plot A?
I knew it was going to tie back into biosyn and that they were going to be like, oh, they're not eating biosyn crops. And of course, Laura Dern comes on screen and she's like, they're not eating biosyn crops. I'm like, oh, no shit.
Oh, we're going here with this.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't.
And they have like.
It would have been a lot cooler.
They have all these chances to where like they can show off like the implications of like the dinosaurs in the world like we're talking about, and they just focus on the locusts.
They were kind of close when we were in Morocco.
A little bit.
But as soon as you get to that island, it's over.
Yeah.
Like they didn't, if they could have stayed out of that thing, that would have been great.
I remember what I was going to touch on.
Get them.
So they brought back Chris Pratt's black friend from the first Jurassic World film.
Right.
He's like the partner in like wrangling up the velociraptors.
Yeah.
So he comes back. He's in the Morocco scene. He's basically their access into the black market because he's got like a team that's going to go in and bust the bad guys for what they're doing, like trading these illegal dinosaurs or whatever. And that also just happens to be like the same people that kidnapped Maisie and Beta.
Coincidence? I think not.
So he's introduced in that scene, and he's like throughout basically the entire instance that they're in Morocco.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're under arrest. So like the lady in the white shirt or whatever, like the lady with the laser pointer that sicks the dinosaurs on people. And then you never see him again. That's never touched on.
He did his job.
He just did his job, and it's wrapped up. Like, I don't know. It felt like
we got the bad guys.
Yeah, got the bad guys.
What more do you want?
Like, she's just arrested, and then like the guy who's like under her gets like both of his hands bitten off and his face chewed in front of Chris Pratt. Like,
it's not part of the heroes. We're not following that story.
I guess not.
You're come on, Kyle. Come on, you're asking way too.
I should know better.
I was fucking more
after 3 movies. I should know
literally
better.
More intrigued with Chris Pratt wrangling the Elvis looking dinosaur than I was anything else that happened after that. I was also like, all right, this guy's got this thing with like it kind of pissed me off. He's got the rope and the dinosaur around that log, and like he's like holding it, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Elvis looking dinosaur?
Yeah, that thing's probably like 5 tons.
Was it played by Austin Butler?
No. Man, side tangent real quick. Woke up, I don't know, Wednesday morning, or it might have been Saturday morning after seeing this scathing review on Elvis from this news outlet. And I was like, oh man, Elvis is not going to be doing too hot, right? Hop onto IMDb. It's like at a 7.8, rotten, 100%. I'm like, I don't know what's going on nowadays.
I'll probably see it just out of pure curiosity. But
yeah, it's Baz Luhrmann.
I thought that trailer was really funny because it's Tom Hanks's voice playing that character, and it starts with him going, "Some say that I might be the villain of this here story." And I'm just like, God.
Yeah, well, you're a villain to my ears right now.
What is this caricature of a performance?
I don't.
And then you see him all decked out in that like John Goodman makeup, and it's like, why didn't they just get John Goodman to play him?
Couldn't, because he didn't want to do the German accent.
John Goodman also has a better voice than Tom Hanks, in my 100%. Opinion.
Wow, like America's dad, you're about to get slapped by someone.
Sorry, Tom. Sorry.
Shout out if you're listening.
You're great in Castaway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wilson
about
was
this one.
better.
Yeah, Wilson outperformed him. Biggest snub of the year, supporting actor in a movie.
Couldn't believe they didn't even just nominate a volleyball.
Couldn't even throw him a bone. Dude,
Well.
they should have, though.
That would have been fun. Academy would have looked a lot cooler, kind of like this film if they would have got dinosaurs in the real fucking world.
More people would have watched it, I think. But, can't always have what we want.
I hope this thing bombs.
So we can look up I have it right here. It's actually doing pretty well.
Of course it is, because you got idiots like me that see it twice. Fucking moron. Literally watching this thing. Well, the nice thing was Black Phone was on it right after it, so I got to watch Black Phone.
I think I'm going to see that soon. How was Black Phone?
I'm not going to do it
I
could
guess-
be something that we...
Maybe next episode.
Little juice.
Little teaser.
But yeah, I took Preston to see it, and it was kind of like... Worst part is the film's going on, and it's like, oh, dinosaurs! Like he's 5, he'll love it.
Oh no!
And I told him I wanted to take him to see Top Gun because I thought that'd be a fun one too.
I know where this is going.
Oh, dude, he's sitting there, he's kind of watching it, which is not a great sign for the film. And he turns around, he goes, "Dad, what's that?" I'm like, "What?" And like I turn around, we're both looking, and it's fucking Tom Cruise. And that's, his face, cheekbones. It's showing him going, fucking 10, whatever. He's going, breaking the noise barrier. And he's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Top Gun." He said, "You were going to take me to see that. Why aren't we watching that right now?" And I was like, "Kid, like it's dinosaurs." And like
You'll love it.
Like Chris Pratt's on a horse and he's like doing the lasso thing. And I'm like, "Look." And he's like, and he turns around and he goes, "That's Top Gun. You said we were going to see that." And I was like, okay. And then after, I think he passed out 25 minutes into it. And I was like, you know what? He's probably the most right about all of us on this. We did take, Justin went with us too. So,
Time to, next special guest is Preston Parker.
Oh my God. Wouldn't you love to hear some of his, like...
I'd love to hear his opinions. Yeah, his takes on movies that you've taken him to. Oh, man.
I said if we would have went to Top Gun, he would have saw the dinosaurs and been like, "What's that? Those dinosaurs?
Why are we seeing that?"
Yeah, it was just no winning. So no, but we saw Justin. I'm curious because now Justin went, and I didn't get a chance to get Justin's opinion on it. Mm-hmm. I really think that this movie would be like a almost like a candy bar, like probably like a little sweet, little too filling. Really just regrettable after you're done with it.
All sugar.
Yeah, it's
a bowl of sugar.
Oh my God, you're like, man, you're just going through it, and then seriously, it would be like taking a donut and just filling it with it'd be like eating like one of those donuts,
it's
the
just
jelly donuts,
frosting. There's just a tub of frosting.
It's
like not even like your favorite frosting either. It's like
I was about strawberry, strawberry frosting or something. Frosting. You're like you're eating it and you're like, not bad, not great, I'm just eating it, and then you get done with it and you're just like farting and just like, man,
it's like
why
I
did
really
do
don't
that?
feel good. I need to take an antacid now. Jesus. So this film had a budget of $185 million, which is pretty standard, seems like.
Sure.
Box office right now is $831.3 million.
God damn it, people.
So it's probably gonna hit $1 billion eventually.
You know why? Yeah.
So, but it's been out since June 10th, so it's had a long time to sort of get this sort of number.
We got like a month.
Yeah, but in terms of like the first movie, it's definitely like not as lucrative, but it's still. That's like it's like comparing a gold bar to 3/4 of a gold bar.
I'm not even. No, this movie. I just understand why people get mad with where we're at now in the world. Like you watch this thing. And then you watch The Northman, and you're like, "Oh, that movie right there is gonna make 17 times as much as that one."
Yep.
Like you just see it, and you're like, "How?" Like if you took someone that was just like, "Hey, like, exactly."
The marketing also, I think, for The Northman was kind of like it dropped the ball a little bit. Like,
so this one fucking. Are you kidding me? Dropped the ball. I thought we were gonna be wrestling dinosaurs in New York City. Like I was ready for like Chris Pratt to jump out of the Empire State Building with a parachute and land on something and stab it.
Right. Yeah. This film also has the I guess like favoritism. What's the word I'm looking for?
No, I mean
it's got the benefit of having like the 2 other movies before.
It's probably like what the fucking Sith one.
Oh,
Revenge of the Sith. Or
Yeah.
the 6, like those movies were
episode
all
3.
Yeah, all bad, and then you get to that one, and it's probably the worst out of all 3, but because it wraps everything up at that time, it's like, oh, cool, like let's do it.
Do you think that they're going to make more of Jurassic World movies?
Dude, this thing's gonna gross $1 billion. What, that 90-year-old guy that probably has already too much money that can't write, that just nods to say yes, will tell him to make a 7th one in 6 years. Well, not him, but his probably 80-year-old son. In the 70.
So this right here on Wikipedia says Jurassic World Dominion concludes the second film trilogy and the storyline that began in the original trilogy, although Marshall has not ruled out the possibility of future films. In January 2022, he said, "We're going to sit down and we're going to see what the future is."
Oh, we're going to sit down and see what the future is? They were like, hey, if this thing gets over 800 million, like maybe we should make the 7th.
I can't wait to see Blue, a Jurassic World story.
Oh my God, dude, I can't take this shit. Like, I just can't.
How'd you get your name Blue?
Oh my God, the best is like that thing fucking, they get back. I told my friend, I was like, I didn't have a problem with them dropping off the dinosaur and it knowing to come and grab it, and then they kind of do the look and it takes off. But no, just in case you were wondering, did she really know? Let's have her come back.
She comes
give
back
a head
and
nod.
It gives like a little wink and a little to Chris Pratt, and then leaves again.
And he's like, God bless you. Fuck. So stupid.
My best friend is a velociraptor.
And I'm not, if you like this film, we're not talking down to you. I think there are entertaining aspects. And I'm telling you, the first time I saw it in the right conditions, I was like, the script was really bad, but I had so much fun, sitting.
I will say, I don't know as if I could say I was bored. I was just really in awe of like how dumb it was.
It's bad.
That's pretty. That's like the highest compliment I can give it. That and Jeff Goldblum, probably.
He was awesome, dude. Like he I think the best line that I remember is when they're trying to get the security code, which it was a callback to the third one when and he's like trying to do this. He goes, let's try 1984. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really funny. Some of his it's him talking about the dog. Like trying to, like, you think they're animals. They've got 3 modes, So he had some good quips and he was funny. And the other guy, Ramsey, I really liked Ramsey Cole.
He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad.
It's kind of like, what are you going to,
you can't really fault him. They really didn't do much with him. Like, he's just kind of like
hey, you're gonna be the nerd's right hand man, but really you're the brains of the operation. Mm-hmm. But that's it. That's what we're all going to really do. And then we're going to make you dude. The other thing I said too is like, how about there's like 3 or 4 double agents in this film? Like, bad
like
writing.
Everybody is like actively working against Tim Cook, and
it was so stupid. Like, bad writing. Anytime there's instead of like having this person go through anything, we're just gonna flip them. Mm-hmm. How easy is that? Yeah. Like, let's just say they were really working for this side the whole time. And
I'm guilt-ridden now, so I have to help the good guys. Yep, like the Asian character, I forget his name.
Yeah,
but from the original movie, and then I think he's also in the first Jurassic World movie for like a second. Yeah, and then he F's off, and now he's back in this one. So.
It was. They're all. Yeah. Anyway, bad writing is bad writing is bad writing. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. That, and then I don't understand why it had to be the CIA either. Like, why did they have to work for the CIA? Just make up some weird department within the government.
Mm-hmm. The DIF, the Dinosaur Intelligence Foundation.
Yeah, there you go. The DIF worked for.
Federation would probably work better.
Yeah.
Foundation makes it sound like it's a charity.
It might as well have been. They poached everyone from fucking Jurassic World, which I also didn't get, because I was like, all these people were part of an operation that failed miserably. Mm-hmm. Like, well, they know the most about dinosaurs. Like, really? Like, I'm sure there's someone that works at Apple that is just there to get a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to have him come up and set my Apple computer up.
Yeah. Where's your passion? Was there anything else you wanted to touch on, or should we wrap this up? No, we
could wrap it. It's...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm giving this one a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
What about you?
Originally, when I had seen it, it was like a 6. I was like, I'm teetering between 6 and 7. I was that entertained. I'm telling you, like that. The Phoenix Theater was just.
That's pretty forgiving,
dude. It was so much. Like you have no idea. Like when I tell you, like you're in the jungle and you can hear the thing and you feel it rumbling. You're there. You know, so it's very like, oh my god, like kind of looking around, what's going on. So I mean, I told my friend, I was like, I'm not, you know, the writing was bad, but like the adventure and how much fun I had, I was like, it bumps it up like a star, maybe 2 for me, you know. And then I saw it at the drive-in, and I was like, this is a pile of shit. Like not very good. Like I don't think I'd want to. I'm not watching this at home as soon as it comes out. Like I'll never like just like Fallen Kingdom. So I gave it a 4 out of 10. I mean I can't, and I think it actually dropped it more than a star for me because you know like
you got to see it for what it was.
Yeah.
In the drive-in, just bad writing, cash grab, nostalgia bait, really formulaic. And they're probably going to make more because this one was also successful.
The worst part is they're taking they're doing what they did in Jurassic Park, like literally doing it, not cloning dinosaurs, but they're like, oh well, we're making dinosaurs fun for younger viewers.
Yeah. We're making dinosaurs epic, is what they're saying to themselves. Epic and cool. Oh, there's a moment where the bad dinosaur, the Gigantosaurus, breathes fire.
That's a real wow. So I had to look up that dinosaur. Actually, I was on my phone a little bit for this film too.
I don't blame you.
Thank you. I was trying to like hide it too, so no one saw that I wasn't interested.
Yeah,
but it's like,
turn the brightness all the way down.
Yeah, this is my second time seeing it, man. Like they've already got more than enough money from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to see.
Everybody. Nothing.
Oh. It will never supersede Moonfall. That movie. But the whatever it was a real dinosaur. Like I think all 3 of them at the end, they were actually real. It's like, oh, we don't have to do an androgynous Rex or whatever.
There's no like genetically modified whatever reptile thing.
I think maybe the only one would have been the Velociraptors in the halfway through.
Yeah,
those things looked like tiny T-Rex Velociraptors. They didn't really dive. They just said that they're controlled by a laser, which I thought was fascinating too. Because I was like, unless that laser puts a microchip on them, like I don't. Do dogs do that? Like if you put like a dot on if you trained a dog to hunt someone that got marked, would they not stop until that thing's dead?
I don't know. I doubt it in this real world we're living in, but in movie world, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then I don't have an issue with that one.
Not that one. Speaking of large things like T-Rexes, mountains are pretty big, aren't they?
Whoa! And molehills. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. They definitely weren't climbing a molehill when they trekked to Everest.
Yeah, I just reached my peak. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, cream always rises to the top.
That's right, dog.
That
especially
cream's
when
about
you
to
hit the
burst.
summit.
Oh. So yeah, this was your film pick.
Yes.
Do you want to touch on this before we dive in?
I will get my hands all over it. Just like I was gonna make a Cat in the Hat joke.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say just like Jake Gyllenhaal got his hands on the summit when he touched the top.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Oh, there's so much. This is so rich. I had to do a little bit of research in the day. Anyway, so we're talking about Everest.
2015.
The 2015 film directed. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to say that guy's name.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. Baltazar Kormaker.
Yeah, Baltazar. Featuring Jason Clarke, Jake Gyllenhaal. Jason Clarke is Rob Hall. Jake Gyllenhaal is Scott Fisher. Rob Hall being the lead, the owner of the Adventure Consultants Group.
Yep.
All right, and then Scott Fisher being the lead of Mountain Madness. All right. Also, we had Martin Henderson, who played Andy Harold Harris. I'm trying to think who Anatoly Burkeff was.
I've got the cast up. So what was his name? Anatoly Burkeff.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing
He's
him.
like it's literally Ingvar.
Ingvar Eggert Sigurdsson.
Oh, nice. There's 2 S's in that one too.
Yeah, and there's also like a interesting foreign character in that name.
Oh my god. Well, and then we got you got your guys. You got Josh Brolin as Beck Weathers, Elizabeth Debicki as Carolyn McKenzie, Keira Knightley as Jane Hall. Mm-hmm. Sam Worthington playing Guy Coulter. All right, and then Emily Watson, Todd Boyce, Mark Derwin, my boy Michael Kelly playing John Krakauer, which I thought was the source material for the film, but was not.
It was not. Was that your? Did you pull a little Kennedy there?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Nice.
Some look at the corns and ask why. I look at corns and ask why not.
That's pretty good.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. This weekend I was told my voice is a very ASMR like sounding voice
from someone listening to the podcast.
No, someone that I just was talking to in conversation.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, I think that's all right, and I said I did not think that at all. But
McClain Parker ASMR official Neon Crew podcast video coming whenever.
Yeah, I'll read off something. Hand me some. Is that what they do? They just read?
They get real close to the microphone. They they softly speak into it. Maybe they have an accent, maybe they don't, but they just really brush up against it and just kind of put you at ease and make you feel relaxed.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't think I do that.
Oh
no, but
you do the opposite.
I was told
you get my heart racing.
So I got that. So anyways, that was my Kennedy accent. And going back to the film, 2015 gets released, and it's essentially about summiting. It's about the 1996 expedition, featuring adventure consultants and mountain madness going to Everest. Mm-hmm. And it is really honestly a tale about failed projects and not taking and things into effect, poor planning, not being able to kind of have that see ahead, and and it was something relatively new at the time. Commercial like climbing wasn't really a thing, especially Everest. Like it's Everest, you know. You talk to Preston, he'll tell you where Everest is at. Not really, don't do it. But you get what I'm saying.
Not recommended.
Yeah.
I remember. Were you still going, or were you?
No, that's it. Because like the film, that's the film. I mean, then we're gonna just talk about the film. Right. So
I remember when I first watched this. I watched it when it first came out in theaters. 2015.
Do you remember the marketing for it?
That's what I was gonna bring up exactly. Okay. I remember the marketing for it. I was 20 years old, and I still remember the commercial where it was the specific moment where Jake Gyllenhaal taps on the peak of it, and it does that little piano note while he does it, I think. Ching. Yep. It's like that, and then it kind of gets into the whole disaster element of it.
Yes.
This film in particular is one of the few films where the commercials and the marketing has just stuck with me clear as day.
Really?
I don't this movie was very well marketed, I remember.
Okay.
It got people in theaters to see it. It's very successful.
Is it?
Financially, yeah. It's had a budget of $55 million, and for the budget, it's pretty it made a decent amount. It made $203.4 million, which for a based off a true story.
That was worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
I think domestically it only hit 83 mil.
That's still not awful though, and for a based on a true story.
That's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm. The marketing was really impressionable. I remember, and it still is.
I don't remember
has a spot in my mind.
Any of the dude, I
really?
Literally. Well, so you got I
remember Jason Clarke standing there, Rob Hall standing there in the front, before they start their expedition. And he's at the. How tall is it? 7,000 feet or something, ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Once we hit the maximum altitude of 7,000 feet, your body will be literally dying. And I mean literally dying. Like, I just remember that also being in the commercial.
That used to be a big... So, what trips me up is there was a fantastic film that came out in the 90s called Vertical Limit.
Okay.
That Chris O'Dowd, Bill Paxton, my boy Ben Mendelsohn. Yeah, serious. And then I can't remember it. Anyways, and that every time I hear Everest, Chris O'Dowd, I think O'Donnell, does this like move. He was Robin in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell. Yeah,
he does this thing where he jumps from a crevasse over a crevasse that's about 100 feet long, and he's like falling down and he's wailing his arms and he hits the edge of the face of the mountain and sticks his hooks in there and catches it just right, you know. So every time I think of like climbing movies, I think of that, and I just can't. Now, Vertical Limit is sensational.
It sounds
okay. Now,
it sounds a bit hyperbolic in terms of comparing it to this movie.
It's a 9 out of 10 on Old Max rating. And Sam might give it a 10 out of 10. But it's the action packed. What would you do on a mountain? So when you hear, like, when I think of Everest, that's what I think. So I don't remember any of the marketing, and I had no inclination of seeing this film. Did not give a shit, honestly. And then in 2016, I was like, well, it's out. I'm gonna watch it. I watched it once. That was kind of odd. So I did some digging on it, and like, you know, and then I read Krakauer's book into thin air, and I've watched it kind of 15 times later, and you know, it's just one of those things that sits with me, and it just the polarity between people and humanity and where we're at with like, dude. I mean, you take cavemen. If you went back in time, now granted all the shit that's going on, but you're like, hey, you'll pay $70,000 to climb Everest, you know?
Yeah.
People like, why? I think that'd be the question. Why? Like, and that's the question that they raise in the film. Why?
Yeah, and it's such a weird juxtaposition between what I was saying earlier about remembering the marketing and remembering what actually happened in the movie. Yeah, because I was 20 years old, like I said, and I really didn't know anything about like what had happened. Like I genuinely didn't know like what was going to happen with like the characters.
It's in Nepal, right?
Yeah, so, but I also wasn't privy to the concept of commercialized like Everest climbing. Yeah,
I don't think it was really a thing either that you really thought about.
Like I didn't really know that was something that people did, and so for them to like touch on that as a concept, like I couldn't remember anything about like Jake Gyllenhaal and Jason Isaacs' relationship. I couldn't remember like why it was a big deal that this guy named John Krakauer was a part of Adventure Consultants or whatever. Yeah. Like I didn't know what any of that meant, and so a lot of that stuff was pretty lost on me when I first watched the movie.
100%. I had no idea I just knew that they paid Beck Weathers had the best quote in that whole thing. I'm paying you $70,000. He goes, I'm not paying you $70,000 to stand in line at a freaking Walmart. And it's because I had so many people on the hill.
Was that when he was on the bridge?
Yeah, and he almost fell.
Yeah.
And there's like a little bit of some tension there, and then he just screams it, and I was like, that's what got me. Honestly, I would not have, because I didn't think, I was like, oh, like you're going to pay a small, like, you know, to me, like, you know, hopping on a plane and being like, I'm going to do a round trip from London to Australia back to New York City, I'd be like, that's a small fortune. Like it might cost $2,000, you know, or whatever it is. So like for me, I was like, oh, they're only paying like $5,000, maybe $10,000. He goes $70,000. You know how much that is
for the 19? What is it? 19 like the 90s?
1996. Yeah. I looked it up the inflation. So look up $70,000 and then look up what it's in today.
What'd you go to? Inflation.com?
I don't know. We were looking it up on the car ride home. So I have the number if you can.
I was going to say, if you just,
if you just want to, it's $130,000 with some change.
Jesus.
$130,000 to go to Everest. You know, something that you'll just challenge yourself as a human and then come down with a certificate saying I climbed Everest.
Possibly die.
Possibly, yeah. The post guy, John Hawkes. Like, dude, I was like, can you, like, it just, I don't know. Some of that stuff just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I got, like, if someone came up to you and was like, hey, you're going to jump out of this plane, like, we're pretty, but it's going to cost you $130,000 to do it. It's the same thing.
Yeah. There's just, it's an interesting concept that I never really like paid that much attention to when I first watched it.
I think it's personally, well, now we're getting into it. So, I mean, for me personally, I didn't either. And then I maybe really started thinking about the shit. And I was like, man, what will we do as humans to one up the next guy? Mm-hmm. And this is one of the things. And I don't know if that was supposed to be a conflict in the film, but I thought it poses just a great question, And then one of the funny things that they do that's a little bit of a scapegoat, but it's very true, is that when you make the climb, I guess George Mallory, when he first did it in one of his interviews, when someone asked like why he did it or why do you want to do it, he climbed 700 feet from the summit. George Mallory did when he did it in 1924. Just said because it's there. Like as humans, that's what we kind of do. That's what we conquer and we go over, and the parts of the world that are unknown we visit. And I'm like, yeah, like George Mallory can say that because he wasn't paying us like $100 for a house on the summit of Everest. Like, he did it himself. So it feels like almost like a con to get these people to say, hey, I can do it. I'll get you up there too, And you're just
you're Rob Halling them.
Wow.
Oh.
And I like Rob, or still like, or
like the idea of Rob Hall.
Yes.
the notion of Rob Hall being in our hearts.
Yeah.
So obviously this is based on like a real event. This is something that actually happened, and so like characters in this movie who are like main characters, like they suffer the fate of death in this film. Like, I mean, Rob Hall dies, Scott Fisher dies, like Jake Gyllenhaal, Jason Clarke are like two of the biggest names in this film.
The leaders of both those groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. A few other people die. You think that Josh Brolin's going to die, and then he just kind of comes back, and like his fingers and his nose are all black.
Well, he got his pretty much his whole all fingers in his left hand and his thumb amputated, and then his right arm got amputated, and they have to, I think both his feet got amputated after that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and they had to reconstruct his nose. But here's the added commercialism at its finest. He made a pretty dime off his book, Above the Air or Beyond Death, something like that.
At that point, I would, if I were him, I would have written a book too.
That's what he wrote. That's the source material for this film.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you this question kind of in relation to that. So I was reading I usually go to Wikipedia
Same here.
for like info on this film. I guess even though it has John Krakauer in it, it's not really from his point of view. And even though like he wrote Into Thin Air, which is a telling of those events from like his perspective.
Yes.
I guess he really doesn't like this movie. He doesn't really see the value in it compared to like his book. Okay,
so one, they don't really, it's kind of interesting too, because I was like, I wonder if Krakauer pissed off some people, because they make him seem like he's not that great of a climber. And Krakauer has written several books on climbing. He was like a somewhat amateur climber himself when he was younger. Mm-hmm. The Devil's Thumb, I can't remember I think that's in Alaska. But he wrote Into the Wild based on
Christopher McCandless.
Yep. He wrote that book and tried to trek some of his journey and went into the wild. So and there's this little summit that's called the Devil's Thumb that amateur climbers can do, but more people have perished climbing it. So anyways, he's got some climbing ability behind him, and Tolley, one of the characters in this film,
the Russian guy,
he did not agree with his philosophy on climbing. So what you learn in this, I mean, dude, the events that it really turned into a recipe for this is what was going to happen. And I think I read one of these like this for one of my project management classes earlier in the climb, because that was May, I think 10th and 11th, or May 9th through 11th that all this took place. Mm-hmm. A week or two before, when they're setting up the ropes, because there's so many climbers on there, they didn't get the lines fixed, right? So that's why you got into some of the waiting. So more oxygen was being used up during this. And Tolley, now because they joined, remember, Venture Consultants and McClain Mount Madness they joined together. And Tolley, being Russian, was under the firm belief if you need oxygen, you should not climb. So Scott Fisher did not provide oxygen or he had it available, but Anatoly, being the lead guide, didn't carry it for the other members. So they had to, and that's why you had oxygens that would get stashed, or the Sherpas would go up and carry it. And it caused Scott Fisher and Anatoly to get into some arguments. So that morning, Anatoly goes up by himself, doesn't bring the oxygen with him. He ascends and then descends as they're leaving base 4 to go to the summit. He passes him by, and he pretty much told Scott Fisher, I'm going to get some energy in case they need to be rescued. Which I was like, that's the fucking biggest cop-out I've ever heard. Like, why not just go with them and then save them as they need to be saved?
If they need to be rescued, rescue them then and there.
Yeah, instead of like waiting for someone to come grab you. And then they're like, oh yeah, he was very fresh. He was the most energized when it came. It's like, no shit. He already did the hard thing and got sleep. So you ran into that. And then, the oxygen, which I was trying to really get a feel for, because in the movie they make it like a big deal that there isn't that much oxygen that got stashed here and there. But what really the big problem was that because of how many commercial expeditions were going out and the lines not being readily available, you burned through more oxygen than they had prepped for. And then Scott Fisher did a couple of ascents and descents. Like he went from base camp 3 down to 2 to 1 back up to 3. So there was a little bit of they believed him, like he got hypothermia. And what's when your lungs start filling up with water? Pulmonary something.
I'm not sure.
Okay, any doctors listening out there, fuck off. It's fucking,
we don't trust doctors here. What kind of podcast you think this is?
So there was a lot of that going on, and then so Scott Fisher wasn't very healthy. He got up there at like 3:30 p.m. when it was putting you into kind of dangerous times for the storms coming through. And then Rob Hall wanted to wait for John Hawke's character, and that was like a real thing that happened. He did try to make sure that he got him up there safely, but he should have stopped. They had what they call it, summit fever.
Yeah, was he the guy who was he Doug?
Yes.
Yeah, he was the guy that was coughing the entire time.
Yeah, and you got to think too, in '96. I mean, this is all like that was the second year so that's the second trip up that thing that they did commercial wise, and people saw him do it from '95 and went, oh shit, like we've been up there, we can do it too. So you ran into all the groups of people. No one really respected what was going on, and you figured, oh, they'll just hand us the money and we'll get them up there, and if they don't, they don't. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Pay those people their money back if you don't get to the summit? Like, if they scream like "take me there," it's like, well, I guess so. Like, what do you? So
there's a lot of different factors that made it into a disaster.
Oh my God, yes. And then you get to see it and live it. So, back to what you're saying, Krakauer's book, I read Into Thin Air, and it's all about I guess there are tape recordings on this. So he had gone back, he'd listened to some stuff, he had the insights from what he went through, because he was part of, I think he was one of the first groups that touched, and he got caught up into coming back down. But dude, some of the stuff that he talks about, he goes back and like a good journalist. I mean, he got the stories of people that came back and they were like asking like, what happened? Where'd he go? This and that, and then listening to stuff. And there was a couple of things that were postulated that happened, like Andy Harold Harris. He was with Rob. He went back up to find Rob, and then he's like, he gets hot and just.
Yeah.
There's two pretty disturbing things that I was like, I'm never climbing mountains, was when they're just like walking and fall, and there's no like music that accompanies it. Like it's just like,
yeah,
like see it.
That scene where he gets too, like, air quotes, too hot. It's basically like his brain playing tricks on him. Yes. Like he takes off all of his clothes and then he just like slips down the mountain.
Yep.
And then you just never see him ever
They haven't
again.
found his body, him or Doug's body. They haven't found, I don't believe.
Yeah, he just turns around and Doug's gone.
Yeah.
Do you even like see him fall?
Doug?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't really remember.
He's kind of like, he was on the thing, dude. It was like one of the more startling things. Cause I first time I'd seen it, I didn't really know what was going to happen, and I didn't know it was really like it. Kind of was like, hey, it's kind of based on a true story. It's like, oh, they really fabricated this. But then when you read Into Thin Air, like no, like Krakauer's talk, and he's like, you don't understand. Like when you're up there with the crevasses with the snow coverings, you can just walk and fall.
Yeah.
Like it's not uncommon that you just slip into something. So he goes, imagine being up there with 100 mile an hour winds sweeping snow in front of your face. You don't know where you're at. You could just walk over to the side of something and just there you go.
I wonder what exactly he denounced the movie for.
He blames Antoli for the death. He says that because Mountain Madness, Antoli being the lead guy didn't do what he was promising to do for his clients, right? Did not bring oxygen, so he didn't put them in a safe environment. And because he went up and down without placing oxygen for them or guiding them, says all this could have been avoided because he left Scott Fisher really to be the lead guide, and Scott was behind everyone trying to push him forward. So he was kind of bringing it up the rear, and Antoli wasn't there with his group. There were like 8 or 10 of them. And so that's one. He says he blames Antoli. So Antoli actually wrote a book and kind of refuting against what Krakauer said. So he put it through his perspective, and really it was kind of like a PR move to say, fuck off, like this is what I do.
Yeah.
And then the other part that he didn't like was when Antoli came, and this is where I was like, man, maybe the director, either he didn't know about the beef or he didn't agree with Krakauer, because Antoli comes back, he's like, John, we need your help. And he's like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. And
he's like, I if I go out, I'll die. Or something like that.
I'm a giant bitch. I can't. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, they kind of make him look like a little bit of a coward in this movie.
And
I wonder if that's like part of the issue that he had with it.
100%. He hated it. I mean, that's. Dude, think about it. Like you're up there as a journalist, and you come out with Into Thin Air, and it's like this giant movie comes out, and you watch John Krakauer in this, and you're like, oh, he just went for the money grab and really didn't care about the people that he was with. Like he's literally, and he wrote that book to get money.
Yeah, because the Wikipedia doesn't really go into the specifics of why he didn't like it. So
I had to look.
Curious.
I had to look. It was Antoli, and it was because of what the director did. And the director said he wanted to make it look like John Krakauer was not Krakauer. It was just the situation that these people were in, where how helpless they were. You don't understand. They were 700 feet from base camp 4 when all this took. When people died, they literally walked a quarter of a mile and found them covered in ice and dead.
Yeah. And you can't do anything for them. Like you can't try to save them, otherwise you're gonna die too. 700
feet, it's not like they were 3 miles away. 700 feet they were literally a football field away. Like you had to imagine walking a football field from end post to end. Well, if you've ever been on one, the distance.
School football field.
Yeah,
probably a little bit different.
They're all the same. They're all 120 yards. So, 100 yards is 3 feet. That's 900 feet. So, you're literally walking from one goalpost to about the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
That's it. You could jog that in 15, 20, well, if you're me, 30 seconds.
Well, way to get football in this talk.
Well, I'm just trying to say, 700 feet.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Well, it's all right. It's warranted. But, and I didn't in the movie. You don't really get that feel for it either. I didn't really know that it was like that.
To me, it felt way much further away than what it actually turned out to be.
Yeah,
it felt like they were in a whole nother world.
That's credit to the film. I think So, anyways, we'll get into this is one of my favorite films. It's
really?
Touched me. So huh?
Really?
You don't say, Mac.
You don't say.
You're going, yeah.
No, I'm enjoying this insight.
Oh, good. Well, I was about to say, blink twice when it's like, all right, let's fucking go. But so anyways, Krakauer wrote. I didn't realize that Beck Weathers wrote something. A lot of people that survived this wrote, and actually Everest that came out in '97 on the IMAX. That IMAX team was on this climb.
So, don't they even mention it in the movie?
I think they say the IMAX team is going to go. It's kind of funny because they're almost like they're like the jobbers, of the film. So when they're they get on the phones and like everyone's dying, and it's like Jake Gyllenhaal might be dead, like Jason Clarke might be dead, and you're kind of like your heart's racing, like what's going on? It's like, hey, the IMAX team's gonna go try to save them. It's like, oh great, the movie nerds are gonna go up on Everest and find these guys.
Man, dude, we do what we can.
Yeah.
You know.
You get the guy's like, he's like, me?
This is for the cinephiles.
Yeah. So,
That's funny.
Yeah, so I think that's why Krakauer kind of, and I don't know if the guy that directed this, I was trying to get some juice on this because I was like, it's for a lot of things that happen, but one of the things that they into thin air that they talk about, Krakauer actually like kind of got like severe depression going after this. It was like
I'm not
drinking
surprised.
and pills, and like he didn't know if he was going to write the book or not. So I honestly like I don't think that was like a money grab for the kind of the ending, of the book.
Yeah.
It was kind of like he probably got a little fucked up with near death and seeing a bunch of people that he got to know over a month die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then some movie comes out and it makes him look like a little bit of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
He's right to be a little upsetty spaghetti about
and
that.
not only that, he did touch the summit too, so he climbed Everest.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't like he just turned around. Like he actually did make it to the top too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Very true.
So, dude, hold on. I've gone on my spiel. I mean, and as we talk, but so second time viewing, is it this more of the first, or was it?
So I'm glad that I could rewatch this so I could gain a sense of like what it actually is going for in terms of like portraying commercialized climbing and like that specific disaster with those specific people. Mm-hmm. This film, I think it's good. Okay. I think I really like how it portrays the disaster of it unfolding. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the first half of the film where it's just like the build-up because
you were the guy that I read about.
You're that asshole.
No, because I do want to hear this because I could, if you give this a 3 out of 10 or a 10, like it doesn't matter. I'm just curious because it's from, and I don't want to cut you off. I just want to say, for me, it's one of those things where I have such a lore for it, like such a love, and it fascinates me. But at the same token, I know that's my weird and like, it's a 10 out of 10. But you're
good, dude. Your experience is your experience.
So that's why. So don't hold back on it because on the way back, my friend she read off a little. She did read off a review, and I would like I already got out the emotions. I'll say that.
Okay, you already got out the pain. But no, I think this film, in terms of like setting up what's coming, like the disaster, I didn't think it was anything super spectacular. Like to me, it was just kind of, it almost felt like it should have involved more of the disaster unfolding, because to me it felt like there was more that we just weren't seeing. Like what you were saying with Antoli going back up and like not providing like the oxygen that they needed, or like doing all these weird things, and then you've got Jake Gyllenhaal's character going up and down and like all this stuff. Like I feel like if we only spent a half hour of them like leading up to the disaster, like the climb, and then they go on the climb, I think I would have liked that a lot better than they spend like an entire hour like going to that. And I get that it's important because you gotta show like kind of the character relationships and like what these people went through in order to like lead up to that point. Specifically with like Josh Brolin with the bridge incident and like him kind of losing his temper. Like I actually kind of liked that scene. Yeah. Because I liked Josh Brolin's acting in it. Like he felt genuine to me. Like he felt like he was a real person in danger, not just like an actor playing a character on screen. Right. And I thought that was interesting. But in terms of like the beginning, I just thought it was like pretty, I don't want to say lackluster, but just kind of standard. Like, none of the shots are super interesting. Like the characters, they're saying what they need to say to each other. You get kind of like I don't want to say filler dialogue, but the dialogue where John Krakauer's like, all right, I got to ask the question. Why do you do it? And I remember that being in the trailer too.
See, that's the one, and I don't know. I'm not gonna make arguments for it, but I watched it when I watched it like So I think I watched this like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw that, and then like, you know, because they go, because it's there.
Yep.
You know, that's like the motto for Everest. He goes, no, but really why? And then really no one gives him an answer. That's what, like, it's like those small things that fascinate me, because no one really could say, you know, Doug, why do you do it? And he's like, you know, it's my third time. I just want to show that anything's possible. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you didn't make it, Doug. You didn't make it. $130K later, those third graders, you know, I don't know if they're mourning you or wondering where the $100 is at.
Where's the pizza party, Doug?
Yeah. Like, so
Jesus.
Sorry about. I mean,
no,
rest
you're
in
good.
peace too. I mean, obviously, like this, you know, then fuck off if you're like kind of doing this. I mean, honestly, these are people that were impacted and things that happen. I mean, like that Jan's. I think Rob Hall's daughter grew up without a dad.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as I think it's more of a frustrating aspect for me on, you know, some of this stuff happening just because, like, I mean, human lives are impacted. You know, it's just one of those things where you kind of just.
It could have easily been prevented, but it just wasn't.
Think about it. I mean, we're talking about it, and people talk about Rob Hall. Do you think that they still go like, you know, when you talk about Rob Hall, it's like, oh, it's the guy that climbed Everest and didn't make it. You know, like no one's like, oh shit, like I wonder what happened with his wife and his, you know, his kid and, you know, some of the people that were his friends. Like they're just gone. Like as much as I'm kind of, you know, poking fun at, you know, Doug, he got a whole elementary school to raise enough money for him to go back to this thing. Like it was his third time up there. And they gave him a little bit of a discount. God knows how much.
Right. I remember that line in the movie with Jason Clarke.
And they were trying to make him sound like he was like a good guy too. And that all was. I mean, it was all in good fun. I think, because I agree, and I heard this guy talk about the first half. He's like, there's just not enough tension and build up. And it's like, yeah, it's very true. Like if you're not into kind of the behind the scenes of it, like, you know, like what are you going to do? There's really nothing there. It's just getting you excited for them to go up to the top of this fucking thing.
Right. Yeah, there was that. I guess also like some scenes felt a little too like cheesy to me. Like the scene where Beck Weathers is like waking back up and like he's thinking about his wife like and his kids standing over him with like the field in the background or whatever. Yeah. That felt a little too heavy-handed. Like just show him getting back up. Like you don't need these flashback like fantasy scenes, whatever.
Cares about the motivation, especially from a side character.
We kind of know already from why he's like fighting to get back. You know, one, he doesn't want to die. Yeah. Two, he has a wife and kids. Yeah, like we've already seen them. Like you don't need to.
I agree with that. Like 100%. Like that's
you don't need to hammer it home like that much. And also, like some of the acting I felt was like way better than others. Like I like Josh Brolin. I like Jason Isaacs. I thought that
Jason Clarke,
or Jason Clarke. Sorry, not Jason Isaacs. My bad. I'm mixing him up with another actor. I really liked Emily Watson. I thought she was really good.
Oh my god,
film.
Yeah, dude.
Like she gave like an emotionally powerful performance.
Sam Worthington popped in for all of 10 minutes, and he's one of the most. I thought he was in the film more. That's how much like I hadn't seen it in a couple of years. So I was like, can't wait to watch this. And then he's like, "Hey, Rob, mate, you gonna make it?"
Rob, we're sending people up now. We've got some O on the way. Rob.
I want to talk to Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought she was really good. Keira Knightley, I wasn't a huge fan of. I mean, Sam Worthington wasn't anything special to me.
Wow.
He just was kind of bland guy. He felt like he was lesser Chris Pratt in this film.
Cotter. What do you mean? How else does he sell it? He just got pulled in there. It's like, hey, where's Rob at?
Yeah.
I'm not yet. Wait,
True.
I said I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
I thought Emily Watson was shit.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
Contrarian.
I loved all of them.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal in this. I thought he was good. I liked his like kind of spin on that. I don't know how the guy was like in real life. I don't know if he was like a surfer bro type dude.
We'll
like
have
he was in this film.
We'll have to ask around. Scott Fisher was born in Muskegon, Michigan.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I can't believe it. That much closer to a connection with Jake Gyllenhaal.
One more step.
I'm almost there.
6 degrees of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. The guy that played John Krakauer, Michael Kelly, he was fine. Like
He's
I didn't,
all right.
I didn't think he was anything special, and maybe that was more to do with like the writing of his character and like what they had him do versus like the acting.
I really wish I could figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Into Thin Air, and the guy and the director even said we didn't use any of his book for source material.
Yeah, I'm curious as to like what his reasonings were. Like I just want to talk to the guy. You know, I'm sure you do too.
Krakauer or the director?
Either one. At the same time.
Well, yeah.
Just kind of get a feel. So yeah, I thought that was kind of like hit or miss. Most of the acting I thought was decent. Nothing super stand out. Although I did like it when Jason Clarke was. I mean, I didn't like it when he was dying, but he portrayed it well. Like I thought that it was heartbreaking and
You got a little dusty.
really, really emotionally like resonant. Yeah, I liked that. Really, like I think the strong point for me in this movie is just the disaster unfolding itself, because it feels like just a lot of little things that go wrong to make it so that all these people's lives are in danger and all these people die because of it. And imagining that is actually how it played out, I think it portrayed it pretty well.
Yeah. Oh, that I would agree 100% with that. And that you talk like the first hour, kind of it. I mean, the first hour comes and it's one of those things. I mean, I'm just fascinated with it. Just trying to pin like crack. I might read another book on this thing. But once you get to the second half, I mean, it's really almost like it's just two films. Like it doesn't ever feel like three acts.
Yeah.
I mean, it really feels like, hey, we're at the summit and then it's after the summit. And that second half, that hour goes by like really fast.
This movie is almost exactly 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely feels like you said, two halves of a movie. Like it's not like a third act or anything. It's just like build up and then disaster. And then like maybe 10 minutes at the end for resolution. And then that's pretty much the whole gist of it.
Not even that. It's like a helicopter. They had to just, because it's the highest ascent a helicopter's ever made for a rescue. Like it's the highest ever recorded. The guy did it twice, by the way.
Yeah. He got up, was like, nope, and then went back down, unloaded some stuff. And
I mean, like in real life.
Oh, really?
No, he went up there twice. Beck Weathers gave up his spot. So because the Sherpa for Mount Madness was in worse condition than Beck Weathers, which is hard to believe because he lost like limbs. That guy came up there and Beck gave it his spot to him and said, take him down first. And when asked about it, Beck Weathers just said, because it felt like it was the right thing to do. So that helicopter pilot went up twice. And actually, Beck Weathers was kind of pissed that, I think a little bit that wasn't included.
I was going to say that wasn't in the movie.
No, someone, I was reading about it on the IMDb trivia, and then there's a little bit of Beck Weathers talking about it on like one of the articles I read, that he was a little, not peeved, I think, but he was kind of hoping that they'd have that in the film, and that's why I think they do two climbs, and one, they don't save the Sherpa guy, so I don't know. Yeah, it makes sense. I kind of forgot that even happened. But yeah, that pilot's like actually. I mean, now he's a
world record holder.
Yeah,
in a not so purposeful way.
Yeah, maybe one of the things he doesn't. Well, he doesn't know those people. I mean, he just saved them.
Yeah. He's just doing his job.
Yeah,
very hazardously.
Boy, you talk about like, you thought like them surviving the night was rough. That helicopter pickup scene is just as tense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I forgot about that, like from the original, like from the first time watching this film.
Oh, really?
Like I totally forgot that was like a risky part of the movie.
Yeah,
that was a moment of tension.
It's still not like they grab them and then it just hits like, here we go. We're telling you everyone's lives.
Sorry, I was looking.
I guess they make it down to one of the base camps and they're all hugging and crying and
Sorry, I'm looking something up for later, like in the podcast.
Sure.
Just to make sure that
it's not like we're talking about Krakauer and his hate for Anatoly. Anyways, Anatoly Burkrev, he died climbing another mountain in Nepal, and he has a couple So he came out with a book to refute Krakauer, and then he also came up with his own memoirs. Memoirs of like a high altitude climber. And then I don't really know what I'm trying to think of some other notable. I mean, like Krakauer's in it, and then I think after that, I mean, Beck Weathers, pretty much turned into the $6 Million Man and sold a bunch of books.
Yeah, I'd have done the same thing.
I think he's blind now too. They said between
he's blind. He's lost his nose. He lost his feet.
Yep.
And a hand.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. I would never want to go near snow ever again after that.
$70,000. Oh, sorry, 130.
130. Well, he made that back, but he had to sacrifice his body parts for it.
I guess in one of the things too, which that's why it's crazy just what people pick and choose. He, in his book, like Beyond Death or Beyond the Air or something like that, talked about one of the reasons that his relationships with people and why that was like one of the things that he was really big on, why he wanted to come back down. So I think he probably was like, if you're going to use my book, you put that in there, God damn it.
Yeah.
And so like the director's probably like over the cheesiness, but like Beck Weathers is like, that's right. That's who I did it for.
If you want it done this way, you got to do it my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked the effects too. I think the effects were really well done. Like there were some instances where it was like kind of clear, but for the most part, it was very believable that they were like on this mountain. Like I couldn't really tell a lot of the time like the difference between like, okay, is this like a green screen or is this like, are they actually on a mountain like filming this?
So, Kyle, I got a bunch of stuff for you.
Oh, right. Fill me in. Fill me up, Mac.
That's right. Cream always rises. So they shot on location. Now, obviously, I think they only did it at like Base Camp 1 or Base Camp 2. Josh, who was the actress that played like Yakashi Namamoto.
Oh, yeah.
She was attacked by a yak.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Josh Brolin and Jason Clarke had to wrestle the yak back by grabbing its horns, and they had to get everyone across safely. They're one of the suspension bridges. I think someone almost fell through climbing over there. By the way, Tropic Thunder is about making the movie of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, 16 Sherpas died carrying
for this movie.
Yeah, 6. And so in 2015, Nepal had earthquakes, which caused like record avalanches, and some of the 16 Sherpas that were carting up like production sets or equipment. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 22 people died in 2015.
Shit.
16 died trying to make this film. So there's
I'm
more
reading this
casualties
right now.
There's more casualties of making the film than in the actual film.
They need to make a film about making this fucking movie.
That's what I said.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was like, the irony of this is
Holy
insane.
Shit.
That they're making a film on the deadliest climb in Everest history, and of that climb, they make the deadliest movie ever made. Yeah. Well, maybe not ever, because I'm sure that there's other films where they're like, man, exhaustion. But yeah, 16 Sherpas died because of an avalanche on the Nepal earthquakes in 2015. So and the worst part is it says it ends with production halted.
Production was delayed.
Yeah, it doesn't like say like God rest their souls or anything. It's just like they had to stop.
We have to delay Everest. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So
they send out a tweet.
One of the interesting things I read about was that in Holland or New Zealand, there's actually this like air simulator that they create, and it's like this huge glass set that you can put in props, or I don't want to say an air simulator, but they can get it down to 0 degrees temperature.
Oh,
so they brought in real like snow. Like I don't know if it says they brought in snow, and I'm like, well, I guess you could just create snow. I don't know how that works, but they shipped it in, and so some of the shots that they do of the climbs are probably like on this like little, some sets, but they got it down to 0 degrees, and then filming on location. They had to sleep under heated blankets because the cabins weren't. Dude, one, assistants couldn't go up there, so Josh Brolin didn't have Larry with him.
No.
You know, so like he had to fucking stomach it. Yeah, they got heated blankets, but the cabins weren't like lit up. You know, they didn't have heat or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like they're just meant for, you know, blue collar dogs that, you know, spend $130,000 to go climb the mountain, so they don't really church it up for them. These poor actors had to sleep up there while these Sherpas are dying.
Oh no!
Yeah,
poor Jason Clarke.
Yeah. And apparently he climbed 3 mountains in prep for the role, and him and Jake Gyllenhaal got a nice mountain climb in like Santa Monica or something like that, prepping for the role. Yeah, so they got some experience.
Nice bonding time.
Yeah,
I want a story about their friendship. Climbing mountains in preparation for Everest. Oh, we'll get like the Everest cinematic universe, like the making of the Everest movie
that would
for the disaster, and then of course like the Jake Gyllenhaal, Jason Clarke friendship expedition, Josh Brolin's journey of uncomfortableness on set.
You know, he had to hang out with Beck Weathers for 3 days.
Oh, did he really do that?
I don't know, but I'm guessing he did to get into character. Like, could you? And you know, I'm sorry for Beck Weathers, but like sitting across from him, blind, no feet, no hands, like missing limb, no nose.
You have to live up to something that this guy actually went through.
Yeah, and he's trying to explain it to while he's like looking off in the distance. Like, I don't know. That'd be tough. And then when you hear about they had to sleep under heated blankets, it's like kind of prissy, you know. Like, so you know, I feel like it's a high snub.
Yeah, Josh Brolin just goes like, "Yeah, man, I know what you've been through." Yeah. Just so detached.
We had you here for 3 days. It seems like Josh says 3 hours and he's okay. Says he can completely relate.
Yeah, it must have them going to that location to where they can change the temperature must have helped like the believability of like how cold they actually were, because I could get a sense that they were not comfortable. They were not in room temperature. Like, no, it's very believable that they were freezing.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it too. There's a lot of this movie that I like. It's just there's a lot of it that I think could have been better or could have been like touched up a little bit or cut down.
I will say, in my opinion of it, is that there isn't enough behind it to make it one of those things where you can just roll into the events and have people buy in with what's happening. It's not a world renowned event. It's something that's happened, but like to just go with, you know, starting with, hey, this is just, we're going to show you the whole trip. It's hard because you don't know anything about climbing. We don't know about commercial climbing. You don't have any idea what goes into it. And we don't even care about the really climbing. And this thing's marketed as this disaster film, you know, man versus nature, and it's just on the backdrop of real events. So even with the real events happening, like you're trying to get yourself to buy into all these characters, and it's really like, who do you buy into? None of them are the lead. The leads, if you had to say they were the leads, don't make it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, whose story are you really following? So, one of the things I read, you know, and that's personally where I think it's kind of why the first hour. Now, I bought in, and it made me do all this crazy stuff, researching and trying to figure out like what the fuck happened, and you know, there's a couple of conflicting. Well, I mean, too, you got, anyways, the director had Christian Bale lined up to be Rob Hall, and the story was actually going to be Rob Hall. And Christian Bale was supposed to be the lead, and they were going to follow Rob Hall through all this. So I thought that might have made an interesting arc.
I would have liked to see that. I think that would have been really compelling.
It would have been. I don't know if I'd agree with it though, because he doesn't encapsulate what happened. You know, now unless you go like did a whole story from Rob Hall's inception into climbing and maybe filtered in some memories back then and then, you know, into where he's at now, because you know where his story ends at. Yeah. You know, it's kind of hard, like, well, what happens after that? Like, I'd be, if they did it like that, it'd be more interesting, like, well, who made it then? You know, if he goes, like, what? So, but Christian Bale, and I wish I would have looked it up, but took on Gods and Exodus instead of Everest. So they were kind of, you know, butting heads.
Conflict confliction.
Yeah, so I don't
schedule
know.
Confliction.
I'm curious as to who got the better end of that deal. Actually, I'm gonna find out. Why don't? So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're kind of guided. You got this.
So I've got the Everest up. Are you looking up?
Oh yeah.
Gods of Egypt.
Gods Exodus. Gods and Kings. 6.
Oh yeah, that. I mixed it up with Gods of Egypt, which is a totally different movie.
So let's see. Let's do budgets. Ridley Scott directed this. Oh my God. Budget for this one is a. We'll find out. I read the opening weekend, but I thought that was gross.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, all right. So budget for Gods and Kingdom, 140 mil.
Okay. Budget for this is 55 million.
And opening weekend, this did 24 mil.
24 million.
Yeah. 24 mil opening week.
For opening weekend, I'll have to look at another.
Oh, don't. You're good. Let's just go to gross.
Okay.
So gross. This gross 65 US.
Ooh, this was 203.4 million.
Well, that's not. I think that's worldwide gross. So this did worldwide 268. You don't go to IMDb.
I go to Wikipedia, bro.
Dude, you got to IMDb. It's all right there. Box office. They got their own.
Look it up. I'll look it up. Everest 2015.
I mean, the technical
IMDb.
specs for Exodus God. It's all right there. It's nice. It's concise. It's clean.
I'm on IMDb right now. I'm scrolling down to find the box office.
And there
it is.
All right.
Okay. So, budget 55 million. Opening weekend US and Canada is what it says on here.
Really?
Yeah. $7 million.
That's it.
Pretty much.
God bless it. All right. What did gross US?
Gross US 43 million.
Okay. So this one got 65 mil, and then worldwide.
Worldwide 203 million.
All right. This is 268, but it also cost $85 million more dollars.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we know who won that battle.
Definitely the actors.
Yeah. Whose careers it didn't kill.
Nope.
Let's see. Oh,
not
speaking of, well, we're not doing this, right? We don't need to do this. No one really. Joel Edgerton was in this film. Where'd he go?
Oh, well.
But it's really just Christian Bale, and I think Bale up to that point is Bale could do no wrong. Still can, apparently, with Love and Thunder.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Did you have anything more you wanted to say about Everest, or should we?
Besides, I love it.
Besides, I want to give it a kiss.
Yeah. I sit here and bash the film, and 5 years from now, you're reading about me in the paper because I died on Everest.
You were so inspired.
Oh
no.
Yeah, no, it's like the angry lover. It's like the guy that talks, it's like he constantly makes fun of me. It's like, I'll never date him. Next thing you know, you're holding hands, walking down the aisle. And well, then only bad things happen. Like falling off the face, sheer rock face.
Mm-hmm. With your clothes being taken off.
Yeah. Well, only one of two. No, apparently Scott Fisher died of hypothermia too. So he was found with his oxygen mask on his face, but no oxygen in the tank, and half of his arm outside of his. So Rob Hall's body's still up there because Jan thought it would be appropriate. He wanted to die with the mountain. Scott Fisher Antoli found Scott Fisher's body, took it away from the walking path. Doug and Andy's bodies never were found, and then I don't really remember her name.
The Asian girl.
That was her 7th climb. Her 7th. She got to all 7 peaks.
Yasuko Namba.
Antoli found her body, I believe, or another commercial climbing expedition did, and they kind of built a tomb so that she wouldn't get pecked by whatever eats you at those conditions.
Yeah.
And then her fiance or her husband or the widow actually asked that she be brought down. So some of the bodies were found. Some of them still up there. I guess one of the things that happen is when there's a body up there, they kind of just.
Yeah, they can't really risk their own lives to retrieve your body.
Right.
It's way too risky.
Yeah.
Like I've read about that, how like there's still climbers up there, and
George
like,
Mallory's up there.
Mm-hmm.
1924, they found him 700 feet from the summit. They're like, "Hey, bud."
Oh, there's George.
Yeah, who really knows if he didn't make it?
Who's to say?
Yeah.
He's like right there.
So, yeah, I think that's about it, honestly. Like,
Okay.
I think, and then we got the Nepal shout out to our hero in the helicopter.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's my helicopter noise.
That was really spot on.
Oh, it's like your Kennedy.
Yeah, 100% accurate.
So, what would you rate this film?
Oh, what would I rate it? I get to go first too, since you did. On the wrong film. So Gods and Exodus.
I give Exodus Gods and Kings.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, 0 out of 0. Oh, this is a 10 out of 10. Shocking, right? Everyone.
I am bewildered. I am absolutely dumbfounded. I give this a 6 out of 10.
6. Oh, Kyle.
Closer to a 7 than a 5.
Wow, a 6 out of, just couldn't hold that first half. Just killed it for you, didn't it?
I'm sorry.
I think it did it for a lot of people, honestly. Like it's what it is.
It's what it is.
I mean, if no one wants to go, we all want movies like Jurassic Park nowadays instead of
instead of stories about adventure and risking lives.
Yeah, man.
True stories of heroism and danger.
Yeah, people losing life and limbs.
Literally. Quite literally, actually. No, I enjoyed this film overall.
I mean, it's
just it's got some things about it that I wish were a little different, but that's just me.
4 stars different. Damn. All right.
Speaking of different, a bunch of different people left some questions.
That's right.
For us on the Facebook page, Rooney. So
I've been getting hammered about not handling the questions well by fellow listeners or friends of the pod. I like to say the Neon Mafia.
What's the Mafia saying?
I'm not. Well, they just say that I don't handle the questions that well.
Like you or both of us?
No, just me. There's no. What do you mean both of us? You recall everything off the top. Like I can't do shit. Like so I tried to prep for this and I still couldn't prep.
I don't know, man. I had a hard time with that last one about like movies that you hated at first but then loved later. Like I had a hard time with that one.
Yeah, because no one thinks about that shit. Keep asking us the questions. Honestly, we love all of them, and I like the engagement that we can get from you guys. I mean, whether it just be one person or 50, like it don't matter. We really do like it. So I'm sorry. I wish I could do better with it, and I'm trying to prep more.
Trying to do better.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're only 23.
Ugh. Excuse me.
A lot of learning.
23 weeks old.
23 with glee.
Oh. 23 with glee. 23 and me.
Oh, is that a...
That's a DNA reference. Anyway, this first question is from... Speaking of DNA, this first question is from my mom, Joanne.
Okay.
If they did a movie about your podcast, who would play the parts of Kyle and Mac?
Gary Busey.
I think not Macaulay Culkin, but his brother Kieran Culkin
would play you.
Would play me, and then Jake Busey would play you. I think that would.
Pretty much. Well, we're not on tape, so then it kind of gets into like.
Yeah, it's just our voices, right?
Yeah.
So, who
if it was on tape though, like 100%, like that's pretty fucking spot on.
Well, if it was on tape, and I've said this before, you would be the guy from Good Time.
Yeah,
Buddy Duress.
No, but you got to think of the personality though of being on the tape. Like I don't think my personality matches up to his thought process and logic. Now the stream of conscious and conversation and memory, 100%.
Yes,
but that's not how we go because I can't fucking remember anything right now. Yeah. So I got to come up with someone completely different.
Can't remember shit. Yeah, I would say somebody like who represents who I am and embodies like my attitude.
Yeah,
Timothy Chalamet,
100%.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
Austin Butler.
Yes. George Ezra Miller.
Seth Green. Ezra Miller. Joji.
George Green.
Huh?
Who?
Seth Green?
Seth Green.
Seth Green.
Oh.
Honestly, maybe Breckenmeyer. I feel like Breckenmeyer could
Where's
probably...
Breckenmeyer from?
Breckenmeyer is...
I wish I were a Breckenmeyer wiener. No, I don't.
No, I don't. He was John in the Garfield live action films. He was in Rat Race.
How could I forget?
He's like the main guy in Rat Race.
Not the main guy.
Well, he's like the...
Is he the deaf guy?
No, he's the average guy. Yeah.
The Euro Trip guy?
No, he's the he's
Road
the guy
Trip.
that
he's in Road Trip.
Yeah, he's in Road Trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the
I
guy
know
that's with
Breckenmeyer.
he's with the helicopter pilot girl. Like he
Yeah,
gets with her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really who you...
I don't know.
I could kind of see that.
Yeah, a little bit of Breckenmeyer.
A little bit of Breckenmeyer. Yeah.
I don't know. I've said a lot for me. What about you? Said
I couldn't...
Jake Busey, Gary Busey.
Yeah, nothing flattering. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't... There's... Name someone that's got a really crazy, just wild philosophy on life, and then doesn't really like consciously talk about it, but kind of lives that way. Like that would be whoever. Kramer always comes to mind.
Jaden Smith.
No, who's that?
It's Will Smith's son.
No, that would be that is because that's like Antifa. Like,
how can we see if our eyes aren't real?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying, dog.
That's a real tweet that Jaden Smith has made.
Yeah, it's that sounds like the dude from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. By the way, he's gone nuts too.
Oh, Russell Brand?
Yeah. Russell Brand, but when he sings We Are the World or whatever it is.
I haven't seen that film, so
can't
attest.
reference. Good timely reference,
Thanks.
Mac.
Thank you, McClain.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So no, I don't know. If we had to go on and on about this stuff, someone that just continuously rants about shit, who knows?
Levi asks, "What's your favorite blockbuster flop and why?"
Oh, blockbuster flop.
I guess Blade Runner 2049 was technically a flop.
We can't keep defaulting to that.
Listen, I'm gonna keep answering with that.
You can't keep.
It all goes back to Blade Runner 2049.
Kyle, get that chair out of your hands.
That's my one card that I have.
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
I'd have to look through my Letterboxd real quick.
No, I mean,
up.
you know, for most of us, it's just like right off the top of your head. You know, I mean, and a lot of things come to mind when we talk about these types of films.
Well, The Northman was definitely a flop, though.
Right.
So that is probably up there for me. I really loved that film, and it did not do well financially.
I mean, what like constitutes, you know, a box office flop?
Something that definitely didn't make its budget back, like if it had a budget of like 180 million and only made like 65 million or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
that's what I'm kind of wondering. I mean, like I've always heard about like box office bomb. Oh, 13th 13th Warrior. Now I haven't seen this one though, so I've seen the 13th Warrior. 13th Warrior is kind of funny. Like my dad, we went on vacation one time. And like literally one time we went on vacation. We didn't really like, you know, camping was a vacation, but we used to watch CSI Miami when we went camping. Mm-hmm. We went and saw the 13th. We didn't see it. It came out, and like my mom was like, "I'm gonna go get my nails done or whatever," while we were in Alabama, you know. And like my dad didn't want to go out and take us out to the pool or anything like that, so it's kind of like, "Hey, let's watch a movie." And he picked the 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. Mm-hmm. And I still don't. We watched it that day. I didn't know anything that was going on because I was way too young. But then I actually watched it like about 8 years ago. I still have no idea what happened in that film.
I'm looking that up. 1999.
That one is one of the ones I would say is not one that I would recommend saying that is something that I appreciate. It's just fun, you know, a little. It's the second time 13th Warrior's been brought up in as many days, in as many as 13 days.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, there's just Jack Frost.
I guess
Jack Frost is really
Is that the Michael Keaton Snowman one?
Oh, dude, I cried. That's the hardest I've ever cried in a film. Harder than in Gleason.
Oh no, that is a sad movie.
The Mummy's on here.
Fight Club, I guess.
No,
is a flop. Well, it said I've googled great great box office flops.
You're the only one that did it.
So, and it says films that flopped, and Fight Club is under it. So I guess that was a flop somehow. Let's see. I'm cracking up at some of the.
There are some ones in here that are like bad.
Yeah, like Jupiter Ascending. Of course, that flopped because it was fucking awful.
Hey, Mars Needs Moms. Oh no, that's not the one that we like.
Yeah, I searched great box office flops, not just flops. Google's doing me dirty. Okay, here we go. IndieWire. 41 great films that failed at the box office. It says The Big Lebowski's on there.
Yeah, I mean, they're, like the cult films, because that's why I'm like Fight Club. I don't know if I really call that a flop because, yeah, I mean, like box office, it didn't do well, but it's got a reputation now behind it. I mean, it's one of the AFI. It's got to be on AFI's list, right?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'd really.
It's like considered one of the greatest movies of all time.
I'm thinking like Battlefield Earth is one that, like, I'm trying to think of one that I really am like.
Are you thinking of like guilty pleasures movies too?
That would be more of my box office one that flopped. And I'm like,
if we're going that route, I can bring up Sahara again because that was a box office flop for sure. But I love that movie for all the wrong reasons.
That's how I would constitute it. I mean, that's
okay, this one definitely was a flop.
Right.
Even though it's kind of a cult classic now, Wet Hot American Summer. That didn't do well at all when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People hated it. People didn't get
it at all.
They didn't get like the humor or the
chicken?
concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't understand it, and it was like, it's one of those comedies that's considered like ahead of its time. And I watched it for the first time.
Really?
A couple of years ago, and I really liked it. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! It's one of the funnier. Yeah, it's one of the funniest movies I've not ever seen, but
I want to watch it again because it's been a minute, and I just remember certain scenes just having me dying. Like,
dude, it holds up.
It's
you can
so
watch
ridiculous.
You could watch that every summer. I had to take Pete to Camp Pendleton, and after I dropped him off, every time at Camp Pendleton, Jane from like whatever Starship or Jefferson Airplane pops up, like that song, and every time like ba 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 bum ba 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 dum ba 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 ba, and I'm like, every time I drive by, I'm like, man, they really got the aesthetics of Peele. When they go into town, I
love going into town, even if it's only for an hour.
Yeah, and then they come back, and then they get all drugged out. They're doing heroin.
My favorite scene in that film is the guy who's like trying to get back to have sex with that girl.
Yeah,
and he's like running, but he's like the car's catching up to him, but he's still running as fast as the car. It's so fucking funny. That's like my favorite part of the whole movie. I love that.
I'm gonna go back and fondle my pants. What'd you say, Glenn? I'm gonna go make some cheese fondue. I said I'm gonna make some cheese fondue for dinner. He's like, what was that? And then, Glenn, you need to tell them. He's talking to a can of tomatoes because he got PTSD from Nam, and he's a cook.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that movie is fucking.
I'm 16 years old. I've got my whole life ahead of me. There's a lot of good quotes in that.
Oh yeah, dude.
So yeah, that's probably my answer right there.
All right, I'll steal it and say that's my answer, so Kyle can look some more.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna look more. I'm gonna go to the next question.
Oh, we can tie. Let's tie.
Yeah, let's tie.
All right, that's a good tie.
Let's tie our tongues together.
Yeah, cream always rises to the top.
It's like the fourth time we said that.
Oh, it's going to be my new catchphrase.
Yeah.
I got to be careful who I say it to, though.
Yeah. Know your audience.
Yeah, right.
Maybe not in front of your mom.
Or my kid.
Shout out to my mom, who I know is listening.
Oh, yeah.
So our next set of questions.
Oh, we totally botched her question, too. It's all right, Mrs. Yates.
Her question was who would play us on the podcast.
Yeah.
I said Breckin Meyer and Gary Busey.
Yeah. Let's go. Who'd you have originally? Jake Busey and
it was Jake Busey
Macaulay's brother,
Kieran Culkin.
Cool. Let's go. Can we go back to that?
Yes.
Make that the official answer.
That's fine with me.
All right.
I like Kieran Culkin. I've never met Jake Busey. I've never met Kieran Culkin either. I was
about to ask, what? Dude, lay out the story about Culkin, man.
I can't. I'm lying. Our next set of questions comes from Justin. Kyle, which movie do you prefer, The Replacements or Hardball? Well, it's hard for me to answer that because I haven't seen either of them. So I'm going to go with The Replacements just because
Smart.
that's about...
That's a really smart answer.
Yeah. That's about football, right? And then Hardball's about basketball.
No, it starts with the B.
Baseball?
Yep.
Baseball.
Yeah.
I got it right. Baseball's a harder ball than basketball. I should have known.
Yeah.
Like physically.
Yep.
So yeah, The Replacements is my answer for movies that I haven't seen.
Hardball might get you teared up though.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Honestly, I just cry whenever I see Keanu, my boy. Mac, thoughts on the FX show The Old Man and how your dude's chops are holding up?
I've not seen it yet. I've heard a lot of people tell me it's awesome.
It's on Prime, right?
Huh?
Isn't it on Amazon Prime?
I think it's on FX and then Prime has it. Ooh, I think it's on FX.
Oh, you can buy it from Prime, I guess.
Wait, what?
Or is it on Hulu?
Hulu?
Because isn't FX on Hulu typically? Because they have Always Sunny on there.
Yeah, I think it's on national TV.
Right?
Cable. Yeah, if that's still a thing.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure cable's still a thing. Anytime I go to my parents' house, they're watching cable. So.
Yeah. So no, I have not seen it. I mean, it looks. My boy Bridges looks. It looks good.
He's distinguished. He's aged well.
I just don't. I'm not big on the. I don't know, the 70-year-old guy walking around with an assault rifle. I have such a hard time. He looks fantastic in a suit and Keanu-esque, but I don't know. I have a hard time just getting behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like something you'd have to check out in order to really judge. But
100%, because he could be a retired CIA agent. It's just one last mission or rope back in. I don't know. I've heard good things on it though, and FX usually treats you good.
Mm-hmm. His next question is: you can only choose one of these Woody Harrelson movies, while the other gets stricken from the cinema world forever. White Man Can't Jump or Kingpin? I feel like this question's more so for you.
Have you not seen either of them?
Nope.
Oh, you haven't seen either of them?
Nope.
Wow, I can't even go into.
He's every one of his questions he's asked, I have no opinion on.
You're a fucking millennial.
Because I'm
a millennial.
I think the word you're looking for is fraud.
Oh. New podcast host.
I'm just replaced by somebody whose life has been dedicated to film.
You're a film. Next episode is hi, this is Kyle and this is Mac. It's Kyle, you look different. It's I feel a little different.
Hi, this is Kyle.
Yeah.
I'm coming at you live from KRWX Film Radio.
Someone walks in you're not Kyle, and you just hear, shut your mouth.
It's an alien?
Yeah. No, it's just it's not you, and but no one would know. Well, until they hear your voice.
Yeah.
What if
until he chooses not to cut it out of the podcast?
New movie. You escape from you get kidnapped, and then I get Phil and Kyle, and then you're walking around telling everyone that it's not you because you're you, but and they're no, that is Kyle, and then you listen, and it's it sounds like Sam talking, but he's Kyle. Mm-hmm. And then it's that is Kyle. You're am I going mad? And then you got to prove that you're still a podcast host.
He's saying all the things that he's telling things that I thought I would know.
Well, but he also has it in addition to I'll go on about Kingpin here.
Oh yeah.
That's where
he's way more helpful with all the questions.
And you're listening, you're that's not him. It's me. I'm Kyle. That's not Kyle. It's I don't know who you are, bud.
Yeah, but
that's Kyle.
You don't know shit about Kingpin.
Boy, you're 0 for 6 right now on films. 0 for 4, and we got a TV show that I'm actually. I'm 4 out of 5. Boy, it's too bad you couldn't have saw an Old Man. Or what? Is it called Old Man?
It's called The Old Man.
The Old Man. Yeah, I wish you could have. Boy, that sounds like a freaking Hemingway book right there.
Yeah.
Half of it. I think I'd stick with Kingpin just because there's a couple more quotes from that film that make me laugh a lot harder. I've seen White Man Can't Jump a couple times, like a handful of times, and I don't know. Once you see what Wesley Snipes has gone through, and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
like I really, yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of Wesley Snipes, I want to watch the Blade movies eventually. Just because
Blade 2, they used to have that on VHS. That was like
I've heard that's the best one.
It's an all-time. Boy Busey's in it. No, he's not. No, it's
redacted.
Ron Perlman, which is another one that I got 3.
I didn't want to say Ron Perlman, but I thought about it.
Like if we went Ron Perlman from Drive as in this chair, that'd be like really dope.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I'm 57 fucking years old.
Yeah.
They're still pitching my cheek like I'm a kid. I love that quote. So yeah, you'd pick Kingpin is your answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And sorry for half the audience that's listening.
No, it's who cares about them?
Yeah, you're right.
His next question, which I also can't really touch on too much. Jordan Peele, underrated or overrated as a writer director? I haven't seen any of his films.
You haven't seen Us, Get Out,
No,
and Nope's coming. There's 2 films, and you got
Nope. I have not seen those movies.
Wow. You're over. That whole line of questioning right there. Justin, this is between me and you.
I just get replaced by Justin.
I'm so underrated, overrated. I'm gonna sit on the.
So have you seen both those movies?
Yeah, because I like movies.
I like movies.
Just do a podcast.
Listen, if I can't watch Blade Runner 2049 4 times a week, then what is my life going
That's
towards?
Kyle's answer. Movies that Jordan Peele well, if he was in Blade Runner.
If he did Blade Runner 2049, I'd really like him.
I'm gonna go. Okay. I'm going on the underrated fence. Like if I have to sit on one, I really feel like Nope's gonna blow us away. And I think Get Out was fantastic. I really liked it. A couple jump scares here and there, but I think he had a very good pace. The tension that he sets with what's going on, the fact that you really don't know where it's going, or you're kind of inclined to where it's going. Like there's things that you pick up on that you go like, oh, like how though, you know? And then when that reveal hits, it's it's really good. I mean, I like Get Out, and yeah, and then Us, I think there's a little bit more of a message in there, and I think there was a lot more satire than what we got. I'd like you to watch Us.
I'll watch them eventually. I think aren't they both on Netflix?
Could be.
So maybe I'll bang them out in this next couple weeks.
Yeah, like Get Out was. I mean, in Get Out, I think I gave like an 8 out of 10, a 9. Like Us, I gave a 7 out of 10. For the scare purposes, it was kind of creepy. But then once you get to a certain point, it's like, all right, what are we really doing? It dragged down a little bit more than I wanted it to.
I'm curious. I'll have to watch and figure it out for myself.
Yeah. So I think Nope will sway me on the whatever. If Nope comes out and it sucks, I'm gonna be like, that dude's overrated. Like, Get Out.
Yeah.
You know?
That'll be the determining factor.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Do we have to move on because you can't answer any of the questions?
Our next question comes from Eric. This one I can answer. Currently, how many directors would you go see their movie just because their name is tied to the film? Quite a few, probably.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically just listing my favorite directors. So you've got Denis Villeneuve, you've got Quentin Tarantino, you've got Nicholas Winding Refn. I'd probably go see just out of pure curiosity.
If it hit the cinema.
Yeah, well, that and he hasn't made a movie since The Neon Demon, and
True.
I'd like to see.
He's got a film series out that you could watch.
Are you talking about on the Amazon Prime? Well, I tried that, Mac. I tried. Believe me, I tried. And it just wasn't happening. Not then, maybe later.
Not then, not ever. Not. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, shoot. I mean, put me on the spot here. Do you want to list any
For me?
directors? Yeah, like what about you? Oh, probably Martin Scorsese. I'd probably see
I was
whatever
about
he
to
made.
say Scorsese's got one coming out.
Oh,
wait.
Robert. I'm like totally blanking on the A24 crowd. So Robert Eggers, Ari Aster. I'll probably see what they make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Rose Glass is coming out with a new movie that I'm excited for. She's the director of Saint Maud,
Ooh.
and she's finally coming out with a new film that I'm excited for. That I'll probably go see at some point. There's like really no information on it, but
Yeah.
Safdie Brothers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There we go. I listed off a shit ton. Most of them are A24.
I guess the answer is being yes. Like we will.
Mm.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, most of the guys that you named, Inarritu would be another one that I'd be really curious about. Cuarón would be another one that I'd like to see. You know, if I heard that they were coming out with some films.
Inarritu, definitely.
Scott is who Tony Scott passed, right? Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley Scott.
Yeah, he would be another one that he did.
He's probably one that I'm kind of lukewarm on, just because he makes so many movies still. Like he
Right.
comes out with like 2 movies a year.
I
it
guess
feels
I
like.
shouldn't.
Like I really couldn't give too much of a shit about House of Gucci. Like I don't know if I'm interested in ever watching that.
I'll probably it's like, so I guess if we're going like buying a ticket going to theaters, like no, I don't think Ridley Scott would be in there.
No, not
But-
for me. Probably because like he's made some great movies, but he's kind of like I feel like he's a director that like throws stuff to the wall and sees what sticks.
Who did Ocean's 11?
Let's look it up. Steven Soderbergh.
Soderbergh. So when Soderbergh was hot, man, I would go out. I mean, if he came back out and said I'm doing this film, I'd probably go to theaters and watch a Soderbergh film.
Mm-hmm.
He handles it so well, and he gets all the ensemble cast. I mean, it's just R.I.P. man.
What are some? Let's kind of inverse this question. What are some directors that we really couldn't?
I also have a question too.
Oh,
I
okay.
had someone that commented, and it'd be a shame if I didn't do this.
Okay, go for it.
So, but we can inverse it and then ask that question because this probably tangentially relates to what Mr. Eric Davis asked.
Okay. So yeah, let's inverse this. What are some directors that we really couldn't give too much of a shit about? Like,
Wait a minute to count. Oh, Michael. Michael Mann, not Michael Mann. Michael
Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like number 1 on on that list for me. Who directed Moonfall? That was
Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich. Yeah.
I
Ruben
just watched Independence Day too. Like I like watching that. I'm like, what happened?
Adam McKay. I really couldn't care too much about. Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's you. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna rush out to see it, but I will watch an Adam McKay film. He did do the one that got nominated, right? Whatever the Leo one was.
Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
He did that. He did The Big Short. He did Step Brothers and Talladega Nights.
Did he do Vice?
He did Vice. Yeah.
Vice was good. I'm the only one I haven't liked is Don't Look Up.
Yeah, I enjoyed The Big Short. I enjoyed that one. That's probably like his movie that I like.
Did you
the
see
most.
Vice? You haven't seen Vice yet.
No,
have you?
I haven't.
More of not admitting to films we haven't seen. When's it
Well,
gonna end, Kyle?
Do you want me to be honest or do you want me to lie?
Or should we just dead air? Let's just dead air it.
Just like 15 seconds of silence. Jesus.
Oh,
I thought of a director that I would like to I'd pay money to see.
yeah.
David Fincher.
Oh yeah, him and Aronofsky.
Aronofsky, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely him. Oh shit, I haven't seen it yet. I really wanted to, but I don't think it's in theaters anymore. Men, the director of Men. What's his name? Alex Garland.
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
Well, so I
that.
guess the real yes, there are like if a director is attached to a project, it probably has more of our eyes than just the talent alone being
Yeah.
attached to it.
Mhm.
Like there are some movies that like Brolin coming out, or I was more like interested in No Country for Old Men because it was the Coen brothers
Yes.
than I was because Josh Brolin and Antonio Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem. Was
Yeah,
in
some
it.
movies are definitely like actor movies. Like Top Gun is a Tom Cruise movie.
Yes.
Mission Impossible is a Tom Cruise series of films. Like those directors, you could like just throw a name in a hat and it really wouldn't make too much of a difference. Whereas like The French Dispatch, it's got like many different people, but it's like a Wes Anderson film.
Yes. Yeah.
Rushmore, which I saw recently, it's got like, that's more of like a tight look at like this one specific character, Jason Schwartzman, but it's like still a Wes Anderson film. Wes Anderson's another one I'd probably go pay money to see. Like,
I think I'm out on him right now. I think I gotta see the film, but I'm not gonna go pay money. Okay.
I think I would still pay money. Like I generally really like most of his movies.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, you got you. I got me. I mean, some of the A24 guys, I don't know if I'd go out there and Saulnier, actually, if he came out with one, I would probably go and watch that in theaters.
That's another one.
Mm-hmm. Some of like the Safdie brothers are getting up there more for me. I'm not a big like Tarantino comes out with a film, I'm probably gonna be like, I need to go see that in theaters.
Yeah, he's a pretty big one.
Scorsese a little bit. The Irishman kind of.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, all right, what am I gonna get? But the Flowers of the Ember Moon or.
Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
Which when's that gonna come out?
Yeah, but that one that might be in theaters. All right.
We have, I think, a couple more questions.
Wait,
that
did you get the one from Gideon on there?
That was when you shared the post.
Yes.
Was that what you were going to?
That's what I'm saying. I'd be a disservice not to. He asked a question.
Yes.
And this is the one that I was trying to think of because I thought we all, So and then I didn't really come up with anything. So, but I did. But I did. But I did. Not really. All right. I did think about this one quite a bit, though, which is what irks me. Mm-hmm. You have to spend 1 week in a movie universe. What movie would be the best and which one would be the worst? Or which one would be the most interesting? IDK, who's even asking these questions? You are, Gideon.
Yes.
And I tried to come up with one. I think the worst one. So, it's really hard to do, the awesome one, right?
Yeah. Most films are built off conflict, and so therefore the settings are not ideal most of the time.
Even if you like Top Gun would be sweet because in that world I would be a fighter pilot, or Space Jam would be cool because I'm hanging out with Bugs Bunny. I came up with it's really hard to find out what one would be the most interesting. Like Jurassic Park to me would be insane to be a part of, but then you get into the peril of life and death.
Yes.
So you kind of have to rule out some of Everest would probably be the one. Actually, that might be the one that's not ideal. Would be Everest, climbing on May 9th through 11th repeatedly. That'd be like Sisyphus.
Pushing that rock up that hill.
Well, I mean, that'd just be the university
for
lived
eternity.
In, May 9th through May 11th consistently.
Yep.
Falling off, find it Groundhog's Day.
It's like a Black Mirror episode. Jesus.
That would be the right. But and then have you seen Brazil?
I have not.
Yeah, Brazil might be the one, but that's...
You trying to bait me into naming more films I haven't seen?
No, that one I really honestly came up with. I was like, well, it'd probably have to be dystopian, and then I was like, what one was dystopian that I probably least liked the most? And I think it's Brazil, just because it was made in the 80s and it really looks shitty.
Yeah,
to be in that kind of grainy world.
Midnight in Paris would be great.
Would it be a part of?
You'd just be in Paris. That'd be neat. That'd be sick.
And you'd be able to visit all those people all the time.
Yeah.
But don't you run into that kind of fallacy?
What do you mean? Oh, the problem of I love this time period so much. I don't want to go back to my current one. But then the people there want to go back to the 1890s or whatever. So
where does it end, Kyle? Where does it end?
Well, it ends when I meet Léa Seydoux. That's where it ends.
Oh man. That's a universe I want to live in for a week. Cream always rises to the top, am I right?
We mentioned Wes Anderson. I think it'd be kind of cool to be in one of his movie worlds. Grand Budapest would be really interesting, engaging, like I would say.
Yeah, well, you got the threat of dying. Like we said, we're going to eliminate some of that, because you're just in that universe. It doesn't mean you have to be part of that, like that storyline that's happening.
Right.
You know.
Lego movie. You could be Lego. You could be an anthropomorphic Lego figure character.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat. Hang out with that dude.
Let's see. Ooh, one that would be really not great.
What?
The Kurt Russell. It's
Breakdown.
Bone Tomahawk. That'd be pretty bad.
Well, okay. So here's the thing, though. I mean, it's really you just be living in the westerns with alien Indians, like
troglodytes.
Yeah, like as they were described.
As they were described in the film.
Yeah, I was about to say, easy, Kyle.
Don't cancel us, please.
Yeah, but I mean, like you got to kind of if you ran into that scenario, because it's the same with like you have to kind of just think about the setting, I guess, of where you're at.
Yeah.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. It depends on like what character and like what kind of person you are in that world. If you're someone who's like constantly like getting into debt, then yeah, that would not be ideal.
Right.
But if you're somebody like
it just.
Yeah, if you're somebody that's just a bystander, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. Hey, look, it's the weekend.
I mean, Space Jam would kind of be cool. I mean, just to be in Looney Tunes for a little bit.
That would be kind of neat. Yeah.
You know.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Although that's a little more dour, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of ones that are like really not great.
That are really not great.
Yeah.
Hostel, Saw.
Oh,
Saw
yeah.
2.
Any like torture porn movie, basically.
Green Inferno.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Green Room.
Green Room definitely for sure. Blue Ruin along those same lines, although maybe not as.
No, yeah, I was about to say Blue Ruin. It's his journey, so it's not really like in that world. I mean, unless you're Sonier's buddy.
Snowpiercer, depending on like what class you are.
Yeah, what cabin you're sitting in.
Yeah.
That is interesting. That one would be interesting for a week.
Mm-hmm. Like you're just in the caboose, so your life is basically
you don't
fucked.
know what you're eating. we can't ruin shit for anyone if you haven't seen it.
We're not spoiling Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
Not this episode.
Yeah, go watch FX or TNT, whatever.
It's usually on TNT.
It's TNT, right?
Yeah.
No, not the movie. I'm talking about the show.
Oh, yeah, there is a show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got Jennifer Connelly in it.
Really?
Yeah, I should watch that.
Your love for her is unbridled.
People would really like to be in the world of like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
I had maybe not Lord of the Rings. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Like depending on maybe not Helm's Deep. I'd love to be at Helm's fucking Deep.
You'd love to be there to watch Helm's Deep.
That's 3. Yeah, like if I was on those trees.
Oh yeah,
like Pippin and Mary.
If you were just hanging out with them.
Yeah. Like being able to like sit on that guy's ears and just see it happening. Because that happened over 3 days. I mean, that's half the week right there if you survive it.
Yeah.
And Harry Potter would be good. Damn it, Kyle, I had one too.
Sorry.
That's all right. It happens. It comes and it goes.
Let's see. I don't think I have too much else. Oh,
No.
The Road would be awful.
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen.
Any apocalyptic movie like The Book of Eli.
Yeah.
Probably not good.
Any like war movie, basically, like
Black Hawk Down,
Saving Private Ryan, Hacksaw Ridge.
I mean, you're like storming Normandy.
Yeah, just immediately get
Iwo
shot.
Jima. I was about to say, what about Titanic? Depending on where you're at when the boat crashes.
Some people were actually in that. Wow, they got to experience the movie firsthand.
I was about to say, well, hey, it's like crack hour. Dude, I can't really think of any. What would be another fun one to be a part of? Blood Diamond? That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be an exhilarating time. Any like Pixar movie would be kind of fun, Toy
Wall-E
Story.
would not be.
Not Wall-E, maybe, but if Ratatouille, you just eat a bunch of food. You're in France. It's like Midnight in Paris, except you're a rat.
Yeah, or the raccoon and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, Raccoon.
That was hilarious.
You could be in that world and then just make shit up.
Oh, I was about to when he asked that Everything Everywhere All at Once popped up in the world that I would not want to be in.
Ooh,
because then to have to do all that stuff, but also have your body like
have to sit on a butt plug.
Yep,
butt plug trophy. Here's this is gonna be my final answer for not good one.
Okay,
Children of Men.
Really?
That would be That would be. It's scary because like parts of the world are already like that, like just the conditions that people live in. You've seen Children of Men, right? I mean,
are you trying to catch me on this? Are you trying to catch me?
I may or may not be looking for some retribution. I may or may not be looking for a reason to get back at you.
One of the greatest tracking shots of all time, man.
Yeah, that film's universe I would not want to be a part of.
I was about to say
in any capacity. Like, I don't want to get into it too much.
Well, no, but I mean, like, well, yeah, I mean, 100% agreed. Or how about Michael Shannon and what's that movie that he was in when he plays like Noah's Ark?
Noah's Ark? Oh, I don't know.
Take Shelter.
I haven't seen that movie. You got me again. Why are you doing this to me?
Hey, Jim, put another chalk mark up
How
there.
many tallies is that now? Like 10 movies?
Yeah, what do we got?
Jesus Christ. You're making me look like a fool. But I guess that's just my own fault.
It's part of the learning curve. It's part of the, and the nice thing is, though, I've seen all these films, and I don't remember anything that happens in them.
So really, you and I are the same.
I mean, we're kind of just tied.
We're the same, you and I.
Yeah. Cream always rises to the top.
Was that all the questions that we had? Did you have any more answers for that one?
No, I mean, these are all fun. I mean, they're all fun. I was trying to think of, honestly, if there was a world that I had to pick to live in, it's Jim Carrey describing Aspen.
What's that? Like
in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
remember when he describes it?
Yeah.
The air tastes. Doesn't he call it? He says like the air tastes like root beer. A little place called Aspen.
Yeah. The air tastes like root beer.
Yeah, like him describing Aspen is the place that I want to live in. Mm-hmm. That's the first one that popped into mind. So I'm sure Young Mac made a very big impression.
So I guess we can wrap that up. We've got one more bit of business to attend to.
Oh, we do? No more questions.
Get to make a film pick recommendation.
One I have or haven't seen.
I don't think you've seen this. I haven't seen it.
Really?
This is
shocker.
Let me look up some info on this real quick.
Give me a year. Give me an actor.
So
just so I can embarrass myself.
I'll give you the director instead because you're not going to know the actor. So this film came out in 1979.
Oh,
this is.
Oh man, we're going.
This is a Soviet era film directed by Andrei Tarkovsky.
I wonder if we've talked about this because I have. Yeah, go ahead.
I have never seen a Tarkovsky movie. I know he's like a very well-renowned foreign film director. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about Stalker.
Stalker?
Tarkovsky's Stalker. And I just looked it up to make sure we're able to watch it, and it's on HBO Max. So.
Oh yeah. Figure out a way.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about that movie. So. Are you up for Stalker?
Oh, what am I going to say? No. Second one that popped up? 2 hours and 42 minutes.
It's a longer one, but it's a very highly regarded film in terms of like where it was made, how it was made. People really like this movie. I guess it resonates with a lot of people. So I've heard a lot about this, and I want to check it out.
100%. We're on 8.1 on IMDb.
It's considered one of the best foreign films
ever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
we'll be the judge of that.
We'll be the judge. But no, I really want to talk about Stalker. So hope you're excited for that.
As excited as one can be about a foreign film that just gets thrust on them.
Sorry, Mac. You have to read.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've never heard of this, so I have no idea what I'm in for. And I read the little synopsis. And 2 hours and 42 minutes of a synopsis that's one sentence long. We'll find out.
Yeah, but it doesn't really give you much in terms of a summary.
I was about to say it's 8.1 on IMDb, and I mean, it's highly regarded. So I got to imagine we're gonna be in good hands.
Just like Allstate, just like
we're not doing plugs.
Anyway, if you guys love insurance.
Oh, that's right. We got to start working on that. We got to get our own reads. The Tarantino reads going.
Yeah. The cigarettes or whatever, the Applewood cigarettes he's got.
Whatever we want. They don't have to be that.
They don't have to be that specific. I gotcha.
We'll do it. Yeah.
I'm reading up on what you like, and to do that more, I'll become a stalker.
Oh, well, this doesn't.
Stalk you.
If I had to guess what that movie was about, just off the title alone, I would not have guessed that synopsis, unless
Unless
they get to the zone, and then that's like what they ask for. So
we'll see. We'll see once we watch this film.
Yeah,
I'm excited. So thank you guys for listening.
Oh yeah,
This was episode 23. If you don't want to be spoiled for Tarkovsky's Stalker, be sure to watch that film before episode 24. These episodes come out bi-weekly. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
really hard drop on that.
What?
Episode 20. You got 2 weeks to see it.
You better find the time.
It's true. No, I get what you're laying down.
Mm-hmm.
I will see it. I'm going to. I hope you guys do too.
I hope so.
I come back in here with an apple. Guess what?
Hey, Kyle, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah. Go. All right. We're over time. Oh my God.
No, we're good.
We are?
Yeah, we're good. This isn't our longest episode.
It's nice. When we trim it, it'll only be 3 hours.
I probably won't have to do much editing for this one.
I don't
honestly.
think so. Maybe the beginning or this part.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I think this is going to be a pretty easy edit.
Nice.
Happy
for you.
Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and you can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like I said. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, various social medias. So appreciate you guys listening. Hope you all have a good 2 weeks before we talk to you again, or talk at you, I should say. And, with you. There we go. A little more formal.
Yeah.
And McClain, do you have anything to say before we
Absolutely.
depart?
WWTHD.
Bye, everyone.